Capital One and a member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar Living Studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Fear the deer.
Oh, yeah.
Got the shirt. Too bad we don't have the video. You can see it.
Take our word for it.
It's a good thing we don't have the video. I probably appear to be sweating.
Did
my
you
shirt
sprint over
soaked?
here? You look okay. Did you sprint over here?
No.
Okay.
Well, there's a couple of things.
Okay.
I'm still sweating I played basketball this morning. I told you my...
Competitively or just in the driveway?
As competitively as you can play with, like, kids.
Okay.
But I mean, they're like high school kids now, so...
Yeah.
I mean, it's somewhat competitive.
Yeah.
Got to put on a show sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So you gotta amp it up. But I told you my buddy's in and his family played college baseball with them. They're from Pennsylvania and they always stop down, and so the kids just love to go out and play everything. And so we had I got coaxed into a little 3-on-3 half-court action for a couple of games to 11. One went overtime. Shooting game was off.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I led the league in missed shots today.
All right.
But also led the team in the court in rebounds.
Good.
And hustle plays.
Good. Yeah.
I only know one way to play. Only know one way to play.
You're like a T.J. McConnell.
And, of course, for the first time in maybe my life, I had a little bit of a height advantage at times.
Feels good.
You know, so that does feel good.
Yeah,
you got that little, when you can just tap it to yourself on a rebound, it's kind of a nice feeling.
I bet.
But anyway, it was a bad idea, let's just say.
Okay.
I mean, kids coax you into playing. I'm not very good. Haven't played when you haven't played, I say this to you, remember when you were doing the Jacksonville Giants?
Yeah,
by the way, these kids don't believe that I have 9 career professional points.
Yeah, I still don't believe that.
I
but,
do.
We
record
take your word for it.
Ty actually brought up a good idea, and maybe I will add it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, do you have that in your Twitter handle description?
Oh.
I don't, but I might add it.
What is your Twitter? Like, what does it say in your...
I'm not even sure. I haven't
here?
done that in a while. I don't
come
look
on,
into
man.
those things.
You got 20,000 sports director at CBS 47, Fox 30, host of ESPN 690 afternoon show from 3 to 6 p.m.
Pretty simplistic. That's about me. What do you want me to do? You want me to try to be funny?
No emojis, no nothing.
Not really funny.
Didn't even say where you're from, no location.
Nah.
Man.
Do you have all that? Do you have like the flight thing in between, like Milwaukee flight Jacksonville or something?
No. I think I just have Jacksonville. I don't have the plane emoji. Couldn't fit it in. Yeah, I just got Jacksonville.
Okay.
Yeah. But also, see, did you link the website, the ESPN 690 website? Probably not.
I don't even know if you can do that.
Definitely step your Twitter game up.
Should I do that?
No, you don't have to do that.
Okay. I really haven't checked my
Yeah.
I don't know if whatever I put on there. I think I did update it when we started ESPN because I had to take off some other radio station.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I updated it. Seriously, last time I ever looked at it. But anyway, maybe I will add career 9 points.
Do what you got to do.
In professional basketball. I won't say anything else.
Don't say semi-pro. Oh, yeah, just say professional. Yeah.
I mean, it's pro basketball. It's not semi-pro. It's pro.
I got you.
But it was a bad idea because I haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
And when you haven't shot a basketball, and we used to have this little rim outside that we would dunk on and stuff.
Sure.
And of course, when Ty was like 2'4", 2 years ago, like he would be able to shoot on the lower rim.
Yeah.
But we would have some fun back there, shooting the ball. Well, that thing's gone.
Okay.
It hasn't been back there for a while. So it feels so like you can take a golf swing, and sometimes you haven't taken one in 6 months. It feels like you haven't taken one in 6 months, but not like 6 years. When I shoot a basketball, it feels like I haven't taken one since high school if I've been off from doing it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like that for you? Like it feels like, this is so, like, not smooth, you know?
I mean, yeah, it feels a little awkward, but like sometimes I find like if because I don't shoot basketballs on a daily basis, but like if I take like a couple months off, I go back to shooting, then I'm like better, like all of a sudden, and then like
you forget about
and then my shot goes back to being trash once again. But like it's usually like the first couple shots, like, oh, okay, so this is what it feels like to be.
Well, I actually made my first shot.
See, there you go.
But then after that, it was a disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
I was airballing them and like clanking them off the rim like I was trying
Bricklayer
to.
Brent.
Right? Oh, it was bad.
Bricklayer Brent coming at you.
I collected 6 rebounds one time underneath the basket, missing layups, I think.
The fact that you had to count your rebounds over the stats is pretty ridiculous to me.
But anyway, it was fun. But I knew when I walked in the house after, I was like, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I had my first banana in a while because I was like, I need this potassium to avoid cramps
Get
later
some
tonight.
potassium. There you go. Maybe drink water too while you're at it.
I did that.
Good,
but
good.
I don't think I've stopped sweating, and that was at noontime.
Okay.
Now, I did just do a couple interviews outside, so that didn't help.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, it was one of those showers that I was sweating when I got out of the shower more than when I got in the shower.
Well, you have to have a cool down, man. You got to stretch out a little bit.
I didn't have time for a cool down, okay? I had to go to an interview.
You got to prioritize these things, man.
But anyway, that's it's going to be a bad idea. I'm going to pay for this later, like tonight and tomorrow. The hips and the knees.
I'm not going to be surprised if you start cramping during the show and I take over.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
It's happened. So, anyway, speaking of basketball, how about that finish last night?
Oh, yeah.
That was incredible.
The Valley Oop, as they're calling it.
Yeah, very nice.
Chef's kiss. I
That's
like
good.
that a lot. I like that a lot.
Hey, feel free to guard the basket on the inbound pass. Like the I mean, I mean, it was a good play. It was a beautiful.
Yeah, it was a great play call.
But don't you think Cousins should have kind of angled himself toward the basket?
No, for sure. The ironic thing of that play, though, is we used to run the exact same thing in high school, except the opposite, where guys were, like in a straight line, like towards the hoop, as opposed to like horizontal. We always got vertical, and we called it Iowa. And basically, we called Iowa when, and it's kind of complicated to explain on the radio, but basically, if the center was playing me deep, then we called Iowa because there's room for a screen. That's exactly what happened to Cousins. He's playing him a little deeper. So they kind of ran their own version of our Iowa we used to run, but it was horizontal instead of vertical.
That's an interesting thing that a dunk play could be called Iowa.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I know, no kidding, right? No, so we called it Iowa because of a Hawkeye could fly. So if I saw it, I would go I'd make this sign, which is like a bird sign.
Yeah, very good.
And then we'd call Iowa.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it was perfect.
Yes.
Perfect execution.
Yes.
Of course, the defense, like I said, I think the inbound defender, Cousins, I think it was.
He was a little upset after the game.
Yeah.
Push Booker.
He did. Yeah, that kind of got unnoticed, by the way, because there was another replay that lasted 12 minutes.
For sure.
So, so before we get into that, which is obviously a talking point, which is also why maybe we should address it, because it shouldn't be a talking point after you have such a play like that just as much as people are talking about this, like, perfect play,
it's the best.
Everybody's talking about replay and how long it took and everything else. So
sure,
there's a little bit of an issue with that.
Well, let's not bury the lead. Like, yeah, the Valley Oop was cool, but, shout out to Murray State graduate Cameron Payne.
Played great.
29 points, in a contract year, mind you. And let's establish something right now. If you want to get on the Cameron Payne, bandwagon, well, that time has passed. So I have nothing left for you on the Cameron
I'm not on
Payne. And that's fine. You don't have to be, man. I have a couple backseat tickets available for Isaiah Cannon bandwagon. If you want to get on that one, if you don't know who Isaiah Cannon is, check it out. You'll figure it out. But as far as the Cameron one, it's left the station. Brand new tank of gas. Got fresh tires on there. And nobody else is getting on the bandwagon. Big game for him, out of nowhere, after the Chicago Bulls told him that he wasn't even good enough to practice with them, and now here he is right now.
That's bad when you can't
stories.
even practice with a team.
Well,
You're not good enough to even practice.
Did you see that quote?
I didn't.
A Bulls executive said that after the first practice, they knew Cameron Payne wasn't meant for the NBA.
Wow.
And take that how you want now.
I bet that guy's watching.
Yeah.
That guy right now is like, hey, weren't you the one that said he wasn't good enough? That's coming in on Monday morning at the water cooler, or today at the water cooler, and he's like, no, that was the other guy.
No, for sure. Like, I wish they would have dropped the name instead of just executive. I would have loved to see a name on that, but it is what it is.
So it's very few times in sports, I'm putting this right now on social media, that we see a perfect play. Mm-hmm. That was the perfect play. It was a perfect pass and will never be appreciated as much as it should be. It was a terrific pass by Crowder. It was a terrific screen by Booker. Mm-hmm. It was the right amount within the rules kind of cheating by Ayton in terms of the tug of the jersey to create some separation.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
If you ain't cheating, you don't try.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then, obviously, with 0.9 seconds left, it almost had to be perfect.
Of course.
But, I mean, I'm thinking Montana to Dwight Clark is like the perfect play design. Like, it's so good. That's a design that I remember back in the day. I mean, my favorite part about that is Dwight Clark, who now has passed. He would sign his autographs on footballs. Palm Beach Autographs used to have some of these, and he would design the play.
Oh, that's
that
cool.
was called in the end
As
zone.
his autograph.
And then autograph it.
Oh, yeah, but I'm
would-
saying like as a signature, though, that was part
I mean,
of that.
I don't think
That's
he
really
did it
cool.
every time, but he did
Okay.
some of this, and it was real. I was like, that's cool. Like, I'm not even a fan of that, but
Yeah.
I would almost like want that item because he drew the play up. So, again, very think about Christian Leitner.
Sure.
Right?
I would say
Think about Tyus Edney.
Yeah, I would say that the Boise State Statue of Liberty play
Oh,
that
good one.
essentially
Great
put
call.
Boise State on the map.
Great call.
In terms of the football program.
Yeah, that's a really good call. Yeah, but so, again, it exists. But when you think about, like, listen, plays are perfect when it goes right. Kind of.
course,
That's
of
what you think of. But we're talking about time and score, just the enormity of the situation, and then perfect execution on every level to really make it happen. And I really think even if you diagram some plays that would even think like the perfect play, you probably wouldn't get everything at that whole recipe altogether like we got last night. It's very unusual.
What do you think that the Philly special ranks in that?
Yeah.
Because you had a quarterback who ran it who's no longer starting, and you had a coach who called it who's no longer coaching the NFL.
Yeah.
So you had two guys
And
who...
is Burton? Where's Burton right now? Is he with a team?
I'm not sure where Burton is. So you had three
That's a
guys
great call.
essentially that
Somebody
aren't
in
really...
Philly should go do that story right now. If Burton doesn't have a job,
Yeah.
you should go do that story. He might be somewhere, by the way, I think. But if he doesn't have a job, he
look
should
it
go
up.
do that,
Well,
that story.
yeah, so
3
see-
years later, they're all out of a job.
Well, let's just say you had three guys who aren't, really relevant that conducted this perfect play to
Yeah.
help win the game. I mean, that goes to show he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
I mean, again, maybe there's more of this than I think, too. I think the 0.9 nature of it, where you only had, listen, Philly could have run probably a lot of plays on their playbook. They picked the perfect one. There's not a lot of plays to run with 0.9 seconds to go from the corner inbound play, down by one. There really isn't.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of plays you can design. They designed it perfectly. They ran it perfectly. And the Suns are the darling, man. I mean, if the Bucks weren't in it, would you be pulling for the Suns to win it? Is it that nice of a story?
Well, no, I mean, because I like the Clippers, too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers are a good story.
Are
I mean, they've been the little brother of the Lakers how long?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and
it
that
seems
was-
like L.A. can't be
Yeah.
a cute story, though. I mean, it's like
I think the Clippers can be, though.
Kawhi Leonard's kind of boring as heck. And I know he's not even playing right now, but I mean, it's actually pretty impressive what they've done without Kawhi Leonard for the
sure.
last couple games.
For sure. I mean, theoretically, I would probably go over with the Suns just because you got Chris Paul, who, is deserving of one, and Devin Booker the future. So I would probably cheer for the Suns more than the Clippers. But, I wouldn't be mad if the Clippers won the whole thing.
Yeah. But it's like, I think actually everybody's to the point where you're talking about a team that hasn't won it since, the 76-77 season. That's how far you have to go back to find a champ from Milwaukee, Atlanta, L.A. Clippers, or Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that enough is like, nobody's going to be like, there's no real villain in these playoffs, which is good or bad. But it doesn't feel like there's a villain of, I'm tired of this, right?
Yeah.
The old standby.
Or that, or even the Nets were the villain if they would have advanced
were.
because they were the super team.
But I almost feel like take the coach, right? Take Monty Smith, who, by the way, 3 weeks ago, if we had asked who the Phoenix Suns coach is, nobody would have even named.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Ty Lue, we've seen before. He's been hanging around LeBron. Just the whole. I just think Phoenix is this cuddly, cute darling of a story in the NBA. If you can get that in Booker, I mean, it's hard not to like Booker.
Sure.
They just seem like they're. I often say this. We talk about this. I think Arizona sports teams have found. At many a times over the last couple of decades, to me, have been very irrelevant. Doesn't mean they're always the worst teams, just kind of stuck there. Like, not many people talk about the Suns. Not many people talk about even the Cardinals until recently, with Kyler Murray and now getting J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, and everybody else. So it's...
Yeah,
the Coyotes. I mean, nobody talks about, and certainly their baseball team, hardly anybody talks about Diamondbacks. No, they're very irrelevant oftentimes on the national landscape. For a pretty cool state, too. I mean, a lot of people like to visit it and live there and all that stuff.
Yeah, the state of Arizona, I feel like has a hard time getting a lot of love. Even when they went to the Super Bowl against the Steelers, I felt like nobody was really, on that bandwagon. But no, I mean, Phoenix, it's a cool story, especially even with DeAndre Ayton, who's obviously stepped up his game now and is starting to become one of the great big men in the NBA. Because keep in mind, in that draft, there's Luka Doncic was selected, Trae Young was selected, and they picked him number one.
Yeah, that's true.
So obviously there's a lot of hype around that, especially when you have those two other guys I named playing at such a high level. Everyone's looking at DeAndre and saying, all right, well, when is this guy going to step it up a little bit? Well, he has stepped it up this year, and obviously made some progress at the center position.
All right, so I do have two issues with last night.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people have issue. I'll do the quick one is, how in the world can you actually have a play that takes just 0.2 seconds? Like, I don't understand how the ball can touch anybody, any part of the body. And physically, is it possible to go from 0.9 to 0.7 where the Clippers still had a chance at the end? Like, it just doesn't, to me, make a lot of sense. And I really feel like, just take it from this, again, it was already a sluggish finish. We know that. We'll talk about that. But on top of that, it's like, just end the damn game. Like, that's the moment. They won the game. Boom. Nobody would have complained if they never put time back on the clock. There wasn't any need. It's 0.9 seconds. Like, if you catch the ball, if it touches your hand, by the time I start and stop, I don't know if I can do 0.2.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, like when I watch track meets and I watch like the 100-meter dash, 0.2 is a big distance in 100 meters.
Yeah.
So you see that big distance, it's like, okay, well, I mean, can you catch and shoot from that? Like, I'm not mad at that. I mean, obviously, it kind of killed the suspense a little bit, but I wasn't mad. I mean, 0.2 is 0.2.
I don't know how it's logistically possible. I mean, even, I think you have to tap it in from 0.3, right, for a reason.
I forgot what
I think the
exactly
0.3,
it
the 0.3 is the kind of that last, I don't even know if you can even tap it at 0.2. But you could actually alley-oop it for 0.2. Like, it didn't make sense to me. Anyway, I know not a lot of people are complaining about that. I just think it doesn't really make sense how you could only have 0.2 go off the clock. And I think it would have just been better if the game ended. And heck, maybe we would have got a fight a little bit because Cousins and Booker were starting to go after it.
I feel like there's enough fight.
And then we would have brought in the Suns and 4 guy.
Suns and 4 guy.
He would have come down on the floor.
Yeah.
Now we got entertainment, folks. Okay, is the replay hurting our entertainment value? And the other part of that is, should you be allowed to draw up this play when you have no timeouts and they're reviewing? I mean, this play is beautiful. It's perfect. Everything worked. God bless them. I mean, that was a great design. Congratulations. They executed. I mean, that is good coaching. It's good playing. But they didn't have any timeouts to draw up this play. They shouldn't be able to do that.
See, I disagree because at the end of the day, I want to make sure they get it right. Like, even if I'm the Clippers or if I'm the Suns, like, I want to make sure that the time is right. So I understand it took longer than expected, and then they got the play off that. So be it. Once again, that was like a once-in-a-million type of play that everything just fell in the line, and I'm not sure what the odds and the percentages are of actually completing that play, but they did it, so props to them. But, like, for instance, if that was the Bucks situation, I would hope that they take their time and make sure there's enough time on the clock. I mean, we see this all the time in playoffs in terms of, all right, did the ball go off of who? All right, let's take an extra 5 minutes to figure it out. You know, did it go off his hand? Did it go off his foot? Like, those are huge plays towards the end of the game, and those plays make all the difference. So if it comes down to setting some more time on the clock or taking time off, then so be it. I'm okay with that.
Well, I don't want to say I don't mind because that would be another end of this conversation. Don't mind the start and stop and 12-minute reviews and all this stuff. Okay, that's all. I don't know if I don't feel that way, and I'm not this huge proponent of replay. But I would say in this situation, I think the NBA needs to take a serious look at, should you be able to coach during those times? If you had 0 timeouts left, you would not be able to design that play, whether there was a 10-second break or a 10-minute break. You could not call timeout. Yet this review allows you to go to your benches and then basically have a timeout while they check the clock. All I would say is simply, hey, 10 players on the court, you got to do exactly what everybody else at home's doing. You got to sit there and live through this replay or this review until we figure out how much time's on the clock. And if you want to coach yourself, if you want to design the play, if you're Booker and Ayton, then you do it. And you go to the backyard and draw it on your chest, you know? But you should not have had a chance to meet with your coaches and take 10 minutes to design this play. I don't think that was right when you have no timeouts. I think they have to change that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think that play was made up on the spot. I think they've gone over that play before, and the coaches are like reiterating that.
Yeah,
like
probably.
That play, because every team's got to have one of those plays in their arsenal where there's like, you know, there's a second left. What are we going to do? Let's do this tip, this tip play. So I feel like that play was already in the arsenal. Now, obviously, the coach reinforced it, made sure everybody's on the same page. It is what
you
it
don't
is,
seem
man.
bothered by it.
I'm really not.
If I was a Clippers fan, I'd be really bothered by it today. I think I would. I think, especially since it went against me.
I'll be honest. If I'm a Clippers fan, I'd be more bothered by DeMarcus Cousins and company not stopping that play.
Yeah,
that's what I would be bothered by.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got a point. Now, you can make a lot of excuses.
Yeah.
This might not be the greatest example, but I mean, it's got me thinking of it along with this perfect play. I'm also thinking of these other things. And I don't know. I just don't think. I think if there's coaching during a review, especially like this, when you have no timeouts left, I feel like that should be like a technical foul or something. I don't think it should be allowed. So you have the players on the court. You couldn't substitute during the review. You can't do that.
Sure.
Because remember, they put all 10 guys back on the court at the end?
You. Yeah.
So you can't do that, but you can coach up and design a play on your whiteboard.
So then, let's say like a player gets hurt or something like that, then they're waiting for them to get off the court. Does the coach have the right to coach then?
I think you'd have to decide that. I would say probably no, because then people would be faking injuries.
Do you have a right to coach during commercial breaks?
Well, they have media timeouts. Those are designated media timeouts.
Okay.
Yes.
So injury.
And I have no problem with you coaching during or at least the time that's allotted. And sometimes there's coaching when a guy fouls out.
Sure.
You know, because now you're changing players and stuff. And there's that little instance of, hey, if you want to design something or talk to your player or whatever, there's a little pause in the game.
What about during a free throw?
You can shout it, but if you can get
together.
If
there's 2 free throws, and let's say the game's on okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
But again, man, this was 10 minutes.
No,
I mean, you could have ran a practice during this review.
I know. I think it comes down to, obviously, the refs have to get this by faster. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway.
And I'm going to ask you about that. I mean, is it a problem? Is it a viewing problem in sports, but really in the NBA, when I think they said the last minute and 30 seconds took 33 minutes?
Yeah. But no one's turning
that.
away because it's must-see TV.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
You might say, hey, I don't care. I'm locked in.
I mean, you're locked in. Yeah.
And I've got an example of this is why it's good for the game, even though I'm not a huge proponent of this much replay and the time lapse that takes place. We talk about it coming up. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 here on a Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Warm and humid again today. Highs in the mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees. We'll see some midday to afternoon scattered showers and a few thunderstorms, heavy rain, and some lightning and gusty winds the main threats. Overnight, we drop down to the low 70s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beard's Diamonds.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com. Need a good paying job with a flexible work schedule and benefits? A1A Solar is looking for you. $70,000 is a reasonable first-year expectation. Seasoned reps can easily make 6 figures. Leads provided to you as well. Health, dental, 401k benefits. A1A Solar is a tremendous company, voted best places to work in Jacksonville, and in 2016 was the Veteran-Owned Business of the Year. Be a part of an awesome company at A1A Solar. Just go visit A1ASolar.com.
Ah, boy, you have that look on your face. That grumbling Greg face. Boss asking you to do work. No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to Peak Push to Talk. Yeah, Push to Talk is back. Connect instantly to anybody, anywhere in the country. Boop. Get used to the boop. And working at work, too. It's kind of the thing we do.
Boop nationwide. Learn more at booptotalk.com. Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Colhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Colhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Colhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Your experience matters. At University of Phoenix, relevant life experience and eligible transfer credits can help you earn your degree faster and for less. In fact, undergrads who apply these credits, on average, save about 1 year and $11,000. Get the credit you deserve for time spent in the classroom, on the job, and in life. And see how much you can save at phoenix.edu. That's phoenix.edu.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
The Max Kellerman Show.
The one year's like 300 strikeouts, 30-something walks. It was crazy. But I can't remember a stretch like this. And I just wanted to bring it up because baseball's not a national sport anymore. It's a local sport. It doesn't rate nationally. And so the only time you hear about baseball is when there's a scandal or maybe during the World Series. But what Jacob deGrom is doing right now is worth watching.
The Max Kellerman Show. Weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Brent Martineau.
Never heard of what happened in Iowa yesterday, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name of it. Derecho.
Austin Lane.
Iowa State Cyclones. Should call them the Derechos. You can shorten it up, call them the Chos. Why not, man? I'm into it.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Crowder will inbound. Cousins waving his arms. Not an easy inbound with that big body in front of you. Crowder looking, throws it alley. Oh! Hayden puts it down! He puts it down! It's over! And they're trying to say goaltending, but that's a live basketball. He can finish it. What a perfectly executed play. Ayton guides it in beautifully. What an incredible job by Monty Williams designing that play to perfection.
That was a good call right there on ESPN last night. Clippers call probably sounded a little bit different. I actually heard it.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting. You got to give credit to, that game was on ESPN last night, so Van Gundy was on the call, I think. I don't know, who was that right there on the color side of it?
I'm the worst
tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it. But either way, they both acknowledged, they both said, hey, that's a live ball, because it looks like it's in the cylinder goaltending to the average fan. And the Clippers guy actually is like, they're going to review this because of in the cylinder during their call. Well, they weren't reviewing it because of that. They were reviewing it because of time, and to put time back on the clock. They weren't reviewing anything else. But I thought it was Van Gundy did a great job right away of telling the viewer that maybe thought that was, hey, that looks like goaltending. Yeah. That, no, that's a live ball. It's not off a shot, and that's not goaltending, reiterating the rules. He also did, and I saw somebody else point this out, and he's right on the money, or they were right on the money, that Van Gundy did also a great job of that last bit. Why it was taking so long was to get everybody back on the court that was on the court. Again, I wouldn't even have thought of that,
Yeah.
Like so, hey, that's the job of announcers, right? Sometimes to obviously give you the action, but also to educate you a little bit. And the experts like Van Gundy, very good in that situation, I thought. Also, like that call on ESPN, it's kind of interesting because as if you're calling a game, I would assume in that, time frame where there was a delay, you're obviously filling some airtime, but you're also kind of thinking, okay, of all the things that could go on. And I'm not saying you're thinking exactly how you're going to call it, but you want to prepare yourself for, hey, what if there is a shot that could go up, or a little catch and shoot, or an alley-oop, or But I don't think you really believe that was going to happen.
Sure.
Because we just don't see it. We see these attempts at it, goes off the guy's hand, never goes in, ball just lands on the floor. We just don't see it. Like, we really, as much as you watch basketball at any level, you know that's the perfect play design to call if you could just alley-oop it and boom, go. Well, so does the defense. So you don't really see it. Yeah. And so I think it probably even took announcers that were calling that game like, holy cow, that really did happen.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're in a state of shock for sure. Like, and it's like, I don't know, I always feel like announcers, they have stuff in their back pocket, like if they get it, like what are they going to say?
Yeah.
But even that one, it's like, man, I would have just stood there with my jaw on the floor, not believing it.
All right, replay. It took forever. I think I said it, ESPN came out with it, said it took like 33 minutes for the final 90 seconds. You don't seem to have an issue with the stop and start replay. I asked this more for an entertainment purpose thing. We talked about this yesterday at the end of our show. It's funny with McEnroe. Yeah. And I'm not sure we would have the personality or the character that John McEnroe was in today's tennis because the technology and replay is so good. You wouldn't argue a call that you thought was in or out and didn't matter if you were right or wrong. You thought it looked a certain way.
Sure.
Well, we are so consumed with, hey, we've got all this technology. We need to get it right, get it right, get it right. Well, sometimes getting it right takes a while. And all the stops at the end of NBA games. This isn't new to last night's game. I mean, this has been going on at the end of college games now, too. Is it too much? Is it hurting the viewing experience in totality? Even if we hung around for last night's finish and it delivered with a great finish, you don't think it's hurting at all, or do you?
No, I don't think it's hurting. You know, because I'm trying to put myself in the Clippers fans' shoes first, you know, and obviously from that time that they had to drop the play, I just feel like if you're a Clippers fan, you're more ticked off because Paul George missed 2 big free throws at the end that shouldn't even have that situation in the first place. If Paul George hits his free throws, plays a better game, you're good to go. If DeMarcus Cousins stops DeAndre Ayton, I don't know, maybe once last night, it's not even that situation right there. So those are two situations. Oh, by the way, Devin Booker gets hurt. Devin Booker goes out for, you know, a majority of the game, and you still can't stop the Suns. So if I'm the Clippers, I'm raising those questions more than, well, it took too long on the instant replay. From the casual fan, or from my perspective, where it's like, I'm not really, I guess I'm kind of going for the Suns. I'm not really rooting. Like, I'm not a diehard Suns fan per se. I just want to see a good game. From that perspective, you know, take as long as you want. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm bought in. I'm pot committed. I'm going to see how this thing plays out. Now, would I like to go to bed at a more, you know, suitable hour? Yeah, absolutely. I have to get up early the next morning, but it is what it is. But I have no problem with that as long as you get it right. If you mess up the call and, you know, you take all that time and that's not the correct call, well, then that's where fans get mad.
Yeah. So the solution to this is, all right, let's figure this out in a certain amount of time. You know, there are rules in place in other sports and that, hey, 45 seconds or a minute and a half or the 2-minute review or whatever it might be. But if we're going to do this, let's do this and do it in a swifter manner. And I'm a big believer in that from this standpoint. I've long said this. This is my belief on replay. Replay was intended to get it right, but was intended for the jump off the couch, holy cow, I can't believe you missed that call. That's, to me, what the pass interference play against the Saints, right? Where everybody knew that was pass interference.
Sure.
It was meant for that play. The first base umpire, and forget my name, and I think Galarraga's no-hitter or perfect game, where he totally blows the call and costs the perfect game. That play where everybody was like, he missed the call, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was intended to be. It was intended to keep the integrity of sports and integrity of human error a little bit away. Well, it's gone so far because of technology and because of our quest to get it right that we slow down every millisecond, even to the point last night on the, was it Booker that touched it last or Beverly that touched it last, or on that one play, people are like, yeah, I know he touched it last, but it doesn't matter. That's not the spirit of the rule.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
They're almost like, it doesn't matter. Yes, he slowed it down enough where he touched it last, but that should be their ball anyway.
Yeah.
We've gotten to that point.
But I don't know. Like, I disagree. I want to see you get it right, because to me, the whole goal of instant replay is when you look back on the game, you can't point to one play and said, they got it wrong and now we're screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even those ticky-tack, minuscule, out-of-bounds plays, if it's like with a couple seconds left, that can make the biggest of differences. So once again, like, regardless if I'm cheering for the team or not, I would much rather see them get it right. So if I'm a fan of the opposing team, at least I can't bring that up while we lost.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. And again, I believe it kind of hurts the sport, though. It hurts it from a continuity standpoint, a flow standpoint, a watchability standpoint. Now, again, there are moments you're going to stick around, but we'd all be complaining about this a lot more today if that shot didn't go in. We really would. I mean, most of America and sports fans would be complaining about this a lot more if the play wasn't executed to the perfection that it was executed. Because we would have hung around for what? We would have hung around for nothing.
I mean, but you're going to hang around to see the Suns lose the game.
Well,
like, I mean, that's.
But we got something different. We got something more, man. We got that cherry on top. I mean, we got something we really haven't seen much.
Yeah.
That's why we're okay with it today. But
I'll say this much. On Twitter, when I look at, like, people tweeting about the NBA, I hardly ever see, oh, they're taking too long. But I will see the refs are favoring a team in calls. Or the refs are, you know, James Harden, how many times are you going to have that elbow and not get called with that? Like, I see those tweets a lot more than, oh, they're taking too long with this instant replay. Now, Twitter doesn't speak for everybody, obviously. There's a lot more people watching basketball than just the Twitter people. Yeah. But that's what I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of the slowing down minute, you know, this 1 millionth of a second, as much as even like baseball and other sports. Like I've said this before in baseball, you know, kind of the play that happens, let's just say when you slide into a bag, right? You slide into second base and that second baseman's keeping the tag on you. And all of a sudden now we can see this like little bit of daylight where now you can put a piece of paper in there because the guy's pop-up slide just took him off the bag.
Sure.
I just don't think that was the essence of replay and why it's been instituted. I think the essence of replay in baseball was to get this obvious play right that was called wrong, or a foul ball that now you can say that was a home run because it went around the pole and it didn't look it. That's a tough call for an umpire. I just don't believe it. And one thing baseball has done is they've made it pretty swift. Like if you watch baseball, when they go to there, they got obviously a central headquarters for it, and they get on the headset, and it's pretty swift, and they've done better. The NBA probably could sum this up and avoid this conversation, at least from the detractors like me, and just by doing things at a swifter pace. If you can't come up with an answer, then there is no answer, you know, in a certain amount of time. Because again, I think if it's not that obvious, if it's obvious, you can come up with an answer pretty quick. If it's really not obvious, well, then what are people even complaining about anyway?
Yeah, I guess I just feel that, you know, instant replay, it was more than just the big plays, like the, oh, man, I stood up in my living room kind of plays. It was designed, in my opinion, to uphold the rules and to stand by the rules. Because then it's like, well, okay, if it's not that obvious, like, I mean, if you want to put like a shot clock on an instant replay in a sport, then so be it. Then I'm all for that. Yeah, then I'm all for that, because then, you know, that abides by everyone's rule. So be it. But if it's in an NBA game, and once again, if you got to take 10 minutes in a nail-biter type of game to get it right, then take 10 minutes.
I'll say this, man. I don't know if I would like it as an athlete. Okay, because the worst thing about an athlete, especially toward the end of a game, is the you can feel when something's clunky, right? And the start and then stopping and getting from being dripping down sweat to cooling off to almost feel like you know, there's just this time period, and for everybody's different, where you are standing around too long. Like, you know.
Well, no, I mean, that's from an athlete's perspective. Yeah, that sucks to start, stop, start again. I mean, yeah absolutely.
I would think, my point being, like, I almost think the players of a 33-minute final 90 seconds would be more complaining about it than even the fans.
Yeah, the Suns are complaining.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But again, that's a very choppy finish. There's no flow to the game. It's hard to even stay. I mean, I'm not saying you can't perform, but again, maybe. And I think the NBA guys look at it. They really have bought into the rest so much that they look at it as, hey, I get a chance to catch my breath.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably the reason that you don't. You don't hear them complain. I think it was the Milwaukee and the Nets game, Game 7. Obviously, both teams exhausted. They went to the review one time, and I remember whoever was announcing the game was like, hey, this is great right now for Durant and whoever. They've played every minute of the game. They can catch their breath a little bit.
It might have been the Durant when he's on the line for the three-pointer and being two-pointer.
That's right. I think the two-point thing. So, but anyway, but even, see, the two-point to three-point thing, in essence, is good replay for me. What? Because it's fast. I mean, there's really not a lot of ambiguity there.
I mean, but that still took a while. It wasn't like, okay, his foot. I mean, they took a while with
Did
that
it take
one.
a little bit?
It took a little bit, yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, his foot's on the line.
Yeah. I guess that one seemingly goes quicker, and also it's a point or two.
Sure.
I mean, a point or it's a 2 points or 3 points.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference on the scoreboard. See, that's where it makes sense to me.
It's a difference on the scoreboard, but also a possession can be a point or two on the scoreboard, and also 0.3 or 0.4 seconds on the scoreboard can be 2 points or 3 points as well.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think.
No, I get it, man. You're on your porch right now, and you're upset. You're saying get off my lawn.
I don't think I'm the only one. I don't think this is a get off the lawn. I think this is a viewing experience in a day and age where ratings are down in all different sports, and people are changing the rules in baseball because of the viewing experience, and we changed the rules in sports defensively in the NFL and basketball because of the viewing experience. I think it's a fair question.
Yeah, people are on their cell phones anyways. That's fine. Take 2 seconds away from the game, go on your cell phone, and put out that tweet if you got to do it.
The bottom line is what I found out is that Austin's got plenty of time on his hands.
Not really, man. I mean, like I said, I would like to go to bed before midnight when I have to get up early in the morning, but I do what I got to do for the show. Got to do my homework.
You could have watched a replay.
I know, but I mean, campaign though, right? Murray State, you know what I'm saying?
So
Murray
if campaign
State
wasn't playing, then
no, then I wouldn't have cared. No, but since it was a Murray State brethren, I had to support.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. You know the famous person in the bathroom question? Still getting responses.
Yeah?
Got some good responses.
Got to get it. Okay, we'll go over them after that.
Yeah. When we come back, I'll share some more with you.
Let's get it.
It's a 2-day topic.
I like it. By the way,
that's a hell of a topic if it's a 2-day topic.
I'm not going to lie. I brought it up on the morning show.
Didn't do anything?
No. Well, no, it didn't get to air, let's just say.
Oh.
Got shot down real quick. Shot down.
See, that's because
in about 2 seconds.
I'm going to tell you this. The females think differently than the males on this topic.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. We'll be back on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Okay. Mike Greenberg. Green.
I don't talk a lot about golf here because I know that unless something like Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson-esque is happening, not enough people are into it. But do you know what could bring people into it? Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka hating each other. Stop acting like you are above being a sport. So if you want more people to get interested in it, let interesting things happen.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beard's Diamonds.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
Oh, boy, you have that look on your face. That grumbling Greg face. Boss asking you to do work. No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to Peak Push to Talk. Yeah, Push to Talk is back. Connect instantly to anybody, anywhere in the country. Boop. Get used to the boop. And working at work, too. It's kind of the thing we do.
Boop nationwide. Learn more at booptotalk.com.
Need a good-paying job with a flexible work schedule and benefits? A1A Solar is looking for you. $70,000 is a reasonable first-year expectation. Seasoned reps can easily make 6 figures. Leads provided to you as well. Health, dental, 401k benefits. A1A Solar is a tremendous company. Voted best places to work in Jacksonville. And in 2016 was the Veteran-Owned Business of the Year. Be a part of an awesome company at A1A Solar. Just go visit A1ASolar.com.
Your experience matters. At University of Phoenix, relevant life experience and eligible transfer credits can help you earn your degree faster and for less. In fact, Undergrads who apply these credits, on average, save about 1 year and $11,000. Get the credit you deserve for time spent in the classroom, on the job, and in life. And see how much you can save at phoenix.edu. That's phoenix.edu.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Cohen's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. CohensIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the South Side. Cohen's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class.
All right, boss, that's the last house on the block.
So what's the tally?
Let's see, 11 houses have Safe Touch security signs.
Okay, Safe Touch means we cross them off our list. What else?
6 houses with no security system signs, 1 with a ding-dong doorbell camera sign.
Laughable.
Yeah, and 4 houses have big blue alarm signs.
Big blue alarm. You know, I still can't get over the fact that you can go online and buy one of their alarm signs for $25.
Wait, so you're saying there's a good chance that those big blue signs we saw are fake?
Well, not all of them. I'm sure some of them have actual alarm systems.
Well, one thing's for sure. When we see a Safe Touch sign, we know it's the real deal.
And that's just another reason we stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Is that on a bumper sticker yet?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
Coheed and Cambria and the Used are coming to Daly's Place on September 24th. You can win a pair of tickets to the show. To register to win, just go to the contest page on ESPN690.com.
How does it feel for you, a veteran that has pitched for so long, to be essentially called a cheater from another manager?
I don't know. These are Manfred rules. I mean, go ask him, what he wants to do with this. I've said enough. Go ask Alec Baum how he feels about 95 at his face. All right? I don't need to say anything more about that.
That's Max Scherzer. Boy, did she tee him up on that question, huh? How do you feel about being called a cheater by another manager?
Yeah. I mean, would you? Yeah.
And he called out the commissioner, Manfred, instead. I mean, so she probably didn't get from that question what she was looking for.
Still got a soundbite, though.
Good soundbite.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer basically undressed himself on the baseball field yesterday as he was checked, but asked again multiple times by Joe Girardi and the Phillies. That made some yapping and jawing and top step of the dugout for Girardi. It was a pretty good scene. Like, I kind of like that stuff in baseball. That's cool with me. It's exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't like it?
Well, the whole where they had to ask him what's if he has illegal stuff. Like, I hated that part.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, they've been asking guys. DeGrom, nobody's had a problem. A lot of people.
But they asked him 3 times in 4 innings.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Well, and again, but that's prompted by, like, the last one, especially by Girardi. So the managers can ask for that.
Yeah. And do they get 1 per game?
That's a good question, actually.
Whatever the
he
case
must have had more than 1 because they would have checked him once initially, and then why would we get to 3 times? So do I think that a little bit of this is gamesmanship? Probably. Girardi probably wants to get under a guy, like, have him thinking. Yeah. You know, Scherzer thinking about it and kind of ticked off. And now that can go 2 ways. You can blow it by you at 98, or you can get flustered by it. Right. So, and the Nationals end up winning the game. So I don't really think it played a big role in the game. But I do think it plays a role in the emotion and the boiling over and this topic and conversation. Here, I'll say my initial reaction to this is that I don't think I think the players at this stage of it are coming off as kind of babies. I think Scherzer throwing his hat down and all this stuff. He's throwing a temper tantrum at something that there's going to be some hiccups along the way in this first week. This is not the manager's fault. This is not the umpire's fault. This is, again, something that is now being policed. And Manfred, in his post-game to charge Manfred, the commissioner, with the reason for this, that's fair. Because they should be a little angsty doing this in the middle of the season. But I don't know. I think it was, who was it? Sergio Romo, I think it was, also from the Athletics, that also kind of just
broke his belt,
threw stuff down.
Pull his pants down.
Yeah, it's like, all right, guys. I mean, you're going to be asked to do this.
See, but no, this is my issue. Because, okay, I remember back when they brought up this rule, and the pitchers were complaining. And I was the first one to say, well, be athletes, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. What I didn't foresee happening is a guy like Max Scherzer getting checked 3 times in 4 innings. Like, I didn't see that happening. I thought it was going to be like, all right, once you go out to the mound, they can check you 1 time, everything's good. All right, you're good to go. I didn't see it pretty much every inning or every other inning of getting checked. That's annoying because this is what's wrong with Major League Baseball, in my opinion, and with Manfred, is you don't know what you're doing. You're flying by the seat of your pants and you're saying, I don't know, go check them again, I guess. I don't know. Like, okay, the pitchers are doing too good. There's not enough home runs. I guess we'll make this rule. Like, it's all just improv at this point. And instead of, like, letting the game dictate, what happens, you're letting, okay, well, too many home runs, deaden the ball, too many strikeouts, take away the legal substances. Like, this is the problem with baseball. Like, with football, I get it. There's been rule changes and all this stuff, but guess what? With rule changes, like, it's not like the defense was, we can't tackle Tom Brady low now. Like, you deal with it and you move on. Baseball doesn't deal with it. Baseball is like, okay, well, there's too many strikeouts. We got to make a change. And shouldn't be like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
especially halfway through the season.
I don't know if I agree with you, though, on, like, the going after quarterbacks' legs and all the rule changes in the NFL. That has certainly changed a lot of things.
But that's safety. Like, the NFL rules, in my opinion, have evolved because of safety.
Well, you can't defend at all if you're a corner. That was evolving because of points scored.
Okay, but
I mean,
targeting. Safety?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can't play defense like you could back in the day for safety precautions as well as opens up the offense.
Okay, but then is the NFL going, Patrick Mahomes had 7 touchdowns. We got to taper this off a little bit.
That's a fair criticism.
Hey, Lamar Jackson, 4 touchdowns today? Nah, we got to, let's change these rules around. No, because they let the league dictate itself.
Yeah, well, that's fair. And then they change in the offseason.
Well,
if they're going to change rules, they change in the offseason.
But once again, like, I don't see them changing the rules because there's not enough points being scored right now. There's too many points being scored. That's what Major League Baseball is doing. That's what hockey did.
Yeah.
Hockey thought there wasn't enough goals being scored, so you changed the goalie pads around. You made the net bigger. Oh, I'm sorry. When you did that, how's the landscape of hockey doing? How are the ratings doing since you did that? Okay.
Yeah, but basketball, football, all sports have changed for the viewer to experience more scoring because if ratings go up, the entertainment, the interest is up rather than low scoring. I mean, that's so then, and sure, some of it's safety related in football, but it certainly has happened in the NFL and in the NBA especially too. I mean, look at the scoring has gone up in the NBA.
But didn't the scoring go up last year with the most home runs ever hit or whatever, and now they're saying that's too much?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not, again, this isn't me defending Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
They have made a lot of bad decisions along the way, and they have crafted so much over the last 25, 30 years that they have to keep recorrecting themselves based on the ball that's being thrown out there, the seams, the whatever. From steroids to sticky substance now. I will say, you're right. I mean, they're not convicted in what they're doing. And therefore, they're very wishy-washy, and then you get rules changing right in the middle of the season. Before we get to the break, Joe Girardi on the whole Max Scherzer situation.
I've seen Max a long time, since 2010. Obviously, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I've never seen him wipe his head like he was doing tonight, ever. Going like this, right? So it was suspicious for me. He did it about 4 or 5 times. It was suspicious. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I just got to do what's right for our club.
So that's Girardi. What's really interesting is Rizzo, the GM for the Nationals, Mike Rizzo. He says it's embarrassing for Girardi. It's embarrassing for the Phillies. It's embarrassing for baseball. He goes on to say he's a con artist. He's been doing that for years on TV. He says this about Girardi.
Sure.
And then he said he loves Girardi and scouted him at Northwestern, saying, I know him well, and repeating with emphasis, I know him well. So I guess it was a little bit both ways. I think you're going to see some of this. I think this is a bit of gamesmanship along the way, and the veteran managers are probably going to play that game. And if you can get under the skin of somebody, by the way, Max Scherzer, the way he showed himself, if I'm the next team that plays when Max Scherzer pitches, I'm asking 3 times for the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I saw that it bothered him. Why not? Got stuff to hit.
Yeah, but doesn't that mess up the game flow?
Probably.
Okay.
So how you
cool with how you cool with instant? Like you don't want to see the instant replay all the time, but you want to see guys at TSA getting patted down every single inning.
Well, I'm not saying
put your glove in the bin.
I'm not advocating for that as a viewer. I'm saying if I was the manager of the next team that comes in there, I'd be doing that.
Just playing the head games.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's part of it.
But then, like to me, there's going to be no taper to that. Then if you want to play the head games, they're going to play all the head games.
Well, then don't show your ass if you're Scherzer. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, just take your hat off and go pitch.
I just, if you're Manfred, I don't know.
You got nothing to hide.
Get a clue, you know? He had nothing to hide the first 2 times. You think the third time he had something to hide all of a sudden? Well, what are we talking about, though? And last time I checked, sweat is not a legal substance. So... Are you mad because he's trying to get sweat in the ball? Okay.
I do think there's again, he said it too, and every pitcher's going to say it. How do you think so-and-so feels about 95 near his head? It's like, oh, man, I just can't control the baseball. I mean, I've just never thrown a pitch without this stuff. It's fascinating to me that these guys can't throw without it. It really is.
Yeah.
Let's just come up with a substance that appeases everybody, so then we don't have to worry about spin rates being out of control. How hard is this?
I say just juice the baseballs and get substances back.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. It's like home run derby, home run or strikeout. That's it. Take the fielders off the field.
Boss, you're not going to believe what I found on the internet.
What, the moon is hollow?
No, not that. This. I just did a search and found yard signs for alarm systems for sale.
What? Just the sign? Just like without the security system?
Yeah. Look, you can get a big blue alarm sign for about $25. Ooh, delivered tomorrow.
They must not give a flip about their reputation.
Or their real customers.
Right. I bet you can't find a Safe Touch security sign on that thing.
Or Safe Touch wouldn't be involved in something like this.
Nope. When you see a Safe Touch sign, you know it's the real McCoy.
Right. The two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time.
Which is exactly why we always stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Now, let's go find us some fake signs.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Just $55 a month on America's largest and most dependable networks. You don't have to find a hotspot. You are the hotspot. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Chris
Christine Lisi, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting breaking news that the Celtics finalizing an agreement to hire Nets assistant Ime Udoka as their new head coach. What helped separate him was the strong reviews he got from Celtics players who played for the U.S. national team in the 2019 World Cup tournament when Udoka was an assistant. The NBA's East Finals tip off tonight for the Bucks and Hawks. No pressure on underdog Atlanta. It's all on a Milwaukee team that's been spending and building to win it all. Former NBA coach and player George Karl.
I think Milwaukee is the better team. I think Atlanta is going to run out of gas a little bit on their youthful enthusiasm. And I think Milwaukee has persevered very difficult situations. And I think they'll find a way to win this series.
George Karl on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Game 1, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Baseball on 106.7 The Fan. National GM Mike Rizzo called Phillies manager Joe Girardi a con artist. Rizzo reacting to Girardi asking umpires to check Washington ace Max Scherzer for foreign substances last night.
Coming up Thursday, the Bucks got past the Nets, and now everything is set up for them to win the East with just the Hawks standing in their way. We'll tell you how Giannis responds in Game 1. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Thursday morning on ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
So yesterday we asked the bathroom question. Not gonna lie, it was a pretty good one. Who have you met that's famous in a restroom? And I have some more responses for you from yesterday. Pauly Shore. It's a good one. This is from, by the way, this is from a female. Pauly Shore. Long story, don't ask.
Huh. Oh, I like that. I mean,
I like this story.
Yeah, well, don't say that and then not expecting it not to ask you.
Yeah, Chris, well, it's on like Facebook, so I'm probably not going to ask.
Sure.
Chris says Brad Faxon, golfer. Did you even know who Brad Faxon was?
Never heard of the dude.
Drew Hampton says Sylvester Stallone, Super Bowl 29 in Miami. Rocky.
Hey, yo.
Adrian.
Yeah, not bad.
Frank says Joe Namath. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got. Donald Trump is one answer. Terry Bradshaw. Tom Brokaw. Oh, that's a good one. Fuzzy Zeller.
No idea who that is.
Golfer.
Okay.
Cam Neely.
Figures.
You know who Cam Neely is?
Yeah, hockey player, man.
Very good.
Yeah, of course.
Tough guy for the Boston Bruins.
Yeah. Was he defenseman? Right?
Now that you asked me.
Was he forward? Let me check that out.
He just fought everybody, I know.
Yeah,
so
yeah, for sure.
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I bet they actually talked to each other. Quinn's an out there kind of guy. By the way, Cam Neely is a right wing. I was way off. Sorry.
Right wing. Yeah. Mike DeWine, Ohio governor. Here's what it is. Jim Nance. Jim Furyk. This one at Maggiano's at Town Center, by the way.
Nice.
And back to what I said earlier, Sam says, I was sitting here thinking about why I've never run into a famous person in a bathroom, but now I'm noticing a slight trend toward one gender in answers. I guess those of us who only have stalls don't get the community time to run into celebs.
True. But see, this is where I disagree, though. And once again, I mean, maybe there was, I don't know. Like, I just feel like with women, like, they go to the bathroom for different, I mean, yes, they go to the bathroom, but sometimes they hang out in there.
Yeah.
They got TVs and they have couches in there.
That didn't,
so I've heard.
That's true.
I haven't, like, I've never been in one, but I've heard.
That didn't end in, like, junior high school?
No,
that continues
man.
on.
No, that still continues on. Like, yeah, of course, man. Like, if you were like out, you know, with like a bunch of friends, all of a sudden, hey, I have to go to the bathroom, and then the another woman in the group goes, I have to go too. It's like, yeah.
Keep
what are you guys doing in there?
I've been married since I was like 16, so I don't know a lot of this.
You missed out. But no, I feel like if you're gonna have a conversation with a celebrity, it's gonna take place. If you're a woman, it's gonna take place in a woman's bathroom.
Yeah. That's a good call.
Because, like, think about it. They're asking, hey, can I borrow some lipstick? Yeah, I got you. Or some lip gloss or whatever. Yeah.
Not asking that in a men's bathroom, most likely.
No.
Tom says Patrick Ewing at the Hard Rock Hotel in Fort Lauderdale.
Score.
Right next to me at the urinal. Dr. J in Washington, D.C. airport bathroom gave him the bathroom etiquette one-stall rule and waited until leaving bathroom to talk to him. Very nicely done.
Nicely done.
Yeah, for sure.
Payne Stewart at the Memorial Tournament during a weather delay. Obviously 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And after he left the restroom, went out and helped the grounds crew squeegee the tee box. Payne Stewart did.
Wait, he did? Just out of the goodness of his heart?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool. That's a good
Stand-up
story.
guy.
Good story about Kevin. CJ says Karl Malone, the mailman, in the restroom. So, hey, anyway, got some good responses for that.
I'm just trying to picture all like these 7-foot dude, Karl Malone, but like, man.
Wow, he's 6'10".
Big dude. I know.
6'11".
Like trying to use because like I have problems sometimes depending on the urinal. You know, like it's not friendly. I mean,
and you're 6'6".
And I'm 6'6". Yeah.
I usually just go to the small one.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. Usually I just go to like a toilet and then just kind of leave the door open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
And then you can avoid conversation too. Awkward conversation.
True.
Because I mean, don't talk to me when I'm doing. You know, like it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, how's work going? Yeah, good. I gotta go to the bathroom now. So you can shut your mouth. That'd be great.
Yeah. I can't say I've entertained too many a bathroom conversation, but I don't think it's as weird as people kind of make it out to be.
No,
either.
see, it's such and we need to really establish a universal rule here because, like, part of me wants to be like, well, I don't want to make it awkward and not say anything if I know this person, right? Like, say I know this person, I haven't seen him all day, and then now we're sharing a urinal together. It's like, well, how's it going, man? But then at the same time, I don't want to, Yeah, it's a juxtaposition, Brent. What am I supposed to do?
Well, yeah, and you're talking not necessarily famous people. You're just talking like every day.
I'm talking about the homies. Talking about the homies. Talking about the homies.
Well, that's our bathroom talk for today.
Bathroom talk on ESPN.
Listen, I got a ton of bathroom talk stuff. I mean, I could go for days.
Okay.
Yeah, I really could. I mean, I still don't.
It sounds like an endorsement to me. I mean, I'd probably pocket some of that and wait, but.
Well, I still think not enough have used it. They must be expensive. I think they make them, but they just don't. They don't do enough, especially in like the state of Florida and other warm places, for the splash-resistant urinals.
Sure.
Because a lot of people are wearing flip-flops.
Gross.
And in shorts.
Gross.
That's just reality.
I've never thought about that in my entire life.
Well, you will the next time you're in flip-flops and shorts and you're in a urinal and it's splashing all over.
I don't rock a lot of flip-flops. Can we establish one thing, though, in terms of, because since we're on bathroom talk now?
This is real stuff. This is real talk.
Like, again, that is hard with bathroom talk.
That is somebody answer me that question, why somebody hasn't made millions at the splash-resistant urinal.
Well, I feel like there's been, like, evolution of it.
Yeah, there has been a little bit.
Yeah. People made millions on the cakes.
Well, yeah, the cake, but the cake makes the splash worse.
Yeah, those are game changers, though, man. Smells good. I mean, it doesn't smell ideal, but it smells better than the alternative.
Smells better than a stadium bathroom. Yeah.
This is fantastic. My wife's going to ask, how's your day today? Good. I talked about the urinals for an hour here on ESPN.
We just try to help people talk about life. People wonder these questions while they're sitting at their urinal not meeting famous people.
But real quick, though, so stalls, right? Like a stall of the toilet, right? The ones that go down to the bottom and don't leave any access for, like, if a foot, you know what I'm saying? Like toilet paper, like, those are, every bathroom should have one.
Those are ideal.
Yeah, because what? It's like an extra, I don't know, a couple inches. People can afford that.
Yes.
Hey, Cox Media Group, let's go.
Not only that, but I think every stall should be, maybe this is true in female bathrooms as well, but every stall should be handicap size.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, then you're going to lose some stalls.
Yeah, I know it, but
no.
I'd rather wait my turn.
See, because now you're getting selfish.
No, it doesn't matter. I'd rather.
Yeah, you'd rather wait your turn until you have to go and they're all taken. And then what do you do?
You waited too long. Know your clock, people.
Know your clock. That's such an old thing. That's such an old person thing to say. Know your clock.
I said I've never even heard it said. I thought I just invented it.
No, I feel like those are like the Metamucil commercials where it's like, and I'm very regular, whatever, that whole thing. Can we stop talking about this, though?
Why? I mean, gosh, don't you talk about this like every morning?
Sure don't.
You know, talk about this
man,
stuff?
there's other things to talk about besides this.
If you ever want an assistance, a little producing, a little ratings bump, let me know.
Yeah. No,
talk bathrooms.
Did you know Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson broke up?
Did they really?
Mm-hmm.
Which NBA star is she going to next?
End of an era. Well, that's kind of the thing. NBA, we talking NFL. Does she go off the grid and go soccer, maybe? Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
How's the morning gig going?
Fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you handle both shows?
Do you think I'm handling it so far?
So far, but you're rubbing your eyes. Are you tired?
No,
Staying
man.
up
I literally got something in my eye right
last
now.
night? That was very good timing.
I know. That was a perfect time. I got something in my eye.
After the Suns kept you up late.
No,
short night's sleep.
Suns did keep me up late. But hey, it's for campaign, so it is what it is. No, the morning show's going great. I kind of got my routine down, so we're good to go. My co-host gets a little freaked out when she walks in the morning. I'm doing yoga on the floor, but what do you want me to do? Because I can't do yoga.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, so it is what it is, man. I got to do my yoga.
You do your breathing exercises as well?
I do my breathing exercises in the parking lot before I walk in.
Okay.
And sometimes that freaks people out, too, because it looks like I'm having a heart attack in my car. But
Seriously, how many people at like 5:45 or 6 o'clock are here?
Well, you know, recently, there's been a couple. Let's just say. Recently. The past couple weeks, there's been people in the building.
Okay.
In case you didn't, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I haven't been on this side of the building.
No. But no, you see a lot. I've seen a lot of faces that I haven't seen in a while.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I bring this question to you today.
Hit me
I don't
with
know
it.
if you saw it in the email.
I did check the email.
Is there going to be if you say, like, where is this guy's career going with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Okay.
And listen, we're lying if we say we know where they're going. They're too young in this example.
This was the whole Sunshine and Rainbows email that I saw. This part of it.
No, I think that was just looped in. Maybe bad spacing.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I read Josh Allen Hall of Fame or whatever that you put down there.
Well, yeah. So that's my point.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if by the end of this year or next year or whatever, will we start projecting a guy like DJ Chark, perennial Pro Bowler, #1 wide receiver, huge deal, potentially start talking about Hall of Fame numbers, one of the best receivers in franchise history. Josh Allen, will we talk about him as an all-time sacks leader and another Pro Bowl and a perennial Pro Bowl? He's going to do it every year. Will we talk about James Robinson as, hey, he's one of the best running backs to go along with the Fred Taylors, Maurice Jones-Drew, and he's going to be a part of the stable of running backs that this franchise has had? Or was he a one-hit wonder and he couldn't duplicate it? I feel like this year is going to tell us a lot on a lot of these guys. DJ Chark is going into year 4. James Robinson has a little competition in that backfield, new coaching staff. We know he's not going to get the ball as much as he got it last year, and in a good way because he got it so much. Josh Allen, I said this yesterday, I think, on the show, and I mean, he's one of my favorite guys around here, but had the big rookie year, gets hurt, and really last year was a disappointment on many levels. It feels like he has to have a trending up kind of year, or we'll start to have these offseason conversations next year about Josh, and we'll say, oh, my gosh, this is the biggest year coming up for him because it's a contract year and all this stuff. So I think the Jags have several players like that. I could even put C.J. Henderson in this boat. Will we talk about him as a bust by the end of the year? Or, wow, man, look at this guy. I mean, he really is a top 10 first-round kind of pick. Caleb Chason, same way. So I think there's a lot of that for the Jags, that a lot of unknown. Like, I'd buy stock in a lot of these guys.
Okay.
But there's still a lot of, it's more cryptocurrency, man. You don't know where it's going.
Could be better.
Could be better. But that's what I mean. It's
Could
more
be better.
There's some peaks and valleys.
Gonna need my stuff to get a little better real quick.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, good turn. That's a turn in a hurry, please.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's a long-term investment.
No, I got you. So, I mean, listen, you named a lot of players at me, and, you know, do you want me to break them down one by one?
Well, yeah, that's fine. I mean, again, this is not meant to criticize anybody. I mean, I just think it's the reality of it. I mean, to say James Robinson is going to do it again, what he did, he was an undrafted free agent.
Yes.
You know, Alan Hearns did it for a while, but he was an undrafted free agent and couldn't sustain it. Some of that was injuries, but he couldn't sustain it. That's the reality of it.
So here's what I'm going to get at. I'll try to, because I'm going to kind of branch, or I guess I'm going to try to gather these all guys together and try to make a point here. If DJ Chark has career numbers, if Josh Allen has over 10 sacks, if James Robinson goes over 1,000 yards again, and I think, let's take Laviska Shenault and C.J. Henderson out of it real quick, because these are 3 kind of cemented guys already, right? Like, these are 3 guys that we kind of know what they're capable of. Like, Laviska, we kind of saw glimpses. C.J. Henderson, we'll see. But James Robinson, DJ Chark, and Josh Allen. regardless of what the stats look like, I feel like this year, if they don't go to the playoffs or win over 8 games, I don't think it really matters. Because I look at James Robinson last year. There should have been an outcry of James Robinson not going to the Pro Bowl. Fans should have been in the NFL mentions saying, what are you guys doing? You took Josh Jacobs, over James Robinson. Check the numbers. James Robinson had him beat. But nobody really cared. And why is that? Because he won 1 game. When Allen Robinson was here, and he decided to go on to, to Chicago, I was going to say bigger and better things, but then you played Mitch Trubisky, so what is that really saying? But when Allen Robinson goes to Chicago, fans are disappointed, but there wasn't really an outrage, I feel like, because once again, Allen Robinson was here when the Jaguars weren't winning. And when they go to the playoffs in 2017, he wasn't playing. So there wasn't like a true passion, I feel like there should have been for Allen Robinson. So this leads me to my point. It doesn't matter what your personal stats are, I feel like. Fans could be fans of you, so be it. But if you're not winning the ball games, if you're not talking playoffs, division titles, I don't think any of this matters.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I don't fully agree with what you're saying.
Okay,
though,
do you think Maurice Jones-Drew got his due back in 2011 when he was the NFL rushing leader?
No, he didn't. And you're not going to get your due, but I knew Maurice Jones-Drew was one of the best players in franchise history, and that put an exclamation point on it. And that way, and by the way, he had some early success, of course, with the 2007 team, but not much after that, especially when he was the main guy. But I don't count that against him. His numbers were incredible, and he did everything he could, and he somehow led the league in rushing, even though everybody knew they were going to run the ball every down. Yeah. And they could throw for 120 yards. So, I don't know if I'm ready to stamp it like that. I understand what you're saying, and certainly your stock could go way up, buoyed by a successful season, what looks to be a run. But I think at this stage of it, that's hard to tell with Jacksonville because they're one win team. Even if they win 7 games, that's not going to feel like, oh, what a great year. But these guys could still show the ability to blossom or come down even more, And hey, listen, the bottom line is whether we like it or not, and again, I'm not trying to be overly critical to anybody, but if C.J. Henderson does not play well, does not finish the season, play 16, 17 games, gets beat out by Campbell or whatever it is, if it's not about good play, we're going to start labeling him a bust.
No, for sure.
After this year.
Well, and that's why I didn't include C.J. Henderson in this because we don't know them.
Yes, but that's kind of what I'm getting at with this is this year tell us a lot about the trajectory of these guys. DJ Chark, if he does do it again and has a good season, even if they only win 6 games, do you now know, hey, I got to sign that guy to a big deal because he is our bona fide top 1, top 2 receiver. He's worth the $18 million. He's had 2 out of 4 years really good. And it's all right there in front of us. We're buying into it. Josh Allen, man, he has another double-digit sack year. I say, okay, he got hurt. That's the narrative. The narrative was he got hurt last year. That's it. If he has 4 sacks and he plays in 12 games, now you're going to be like, boy, that rookie season was a long time ago. And one of the only reasons he did that was because he has Yannick Ngakoue and Calais Campbell. He hasn't proven that he can do it by himself.
See, this is where I think, once again, the wins and losses comes into play. If you're Josh Allen or you're DJ Chark and you're undeniable, if you're Josh Allen, you have 15 sacks, well, then, yeah. You're going to be here for a while. I think he's going to be here for a while regardless if it's a good season or not. I just think he's cemented himself now as a leader in that locker room and as a pillar of this team. But, to me, if DJ Chark goes out there and he has a Pro Bowl season, but they win 2-3 games, does Urban Meyer go, okay, well, yeah, he had a good year, but he wants a lot of money. Do we go someplace else in the draft or in free agents? I think those conversations happen if you're not winning football games.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me on that, again, and I get where you're coming from, but I think that would be more of a philosophical, do we want to put $18 million a year into a receiver than it is, hey, we won only 6 games versus 8 games, so we don't think we should bring him back.
Blake Bortles got how much money because he went to the playoffs in the AFC Championship?
Oh, yeah, it can elevate you, no doubt, right? No doubt. But what they did, Austin, is they bought into – that's actually a great question. If Bortles doesn't go to the AFC title game but loses in the divisional round 45-42 to Pittsburgh.
I don't think he gets his money.
Really?
I don't. No.
And by the way, I might agree with you.
I think that they looked at what they had and they said, okay, we didn't have Allen Robinson. We had a great run game with Leonard Fournette, but it's hard to justify not rewarding the leader of that. And once again, I say leader in quotes because was he really the lead? I mean, there's a lot of Leonard Fournette as well.
He's the quarterback of the offense.
But he's the quarterback of the offense. He's the general. So it's hard not to justify paying him when you took your team to the AFC Championship game and you're literally 1 or 2 plays away from going to the Super Bowl.
Well, and they had already invested a lot in him, so they said maybe his best football is now here. We waited. Sure. We were patient. We were all this stuff.
Sure.
And, by the way, the Jags in that regime were very big on, I think they were at least, big on saying, hey, we are a good organization. We are going to reward our players. Alan Hearns got that deal early because of that. Derek Marks got a deal in, like, December with Dave Caldwell running things because it was like, hey, I want these guys in the locker room to show, if you perform, we're going to take care of you. You know, and I think that was a little bit of Bortles-esque in that. You know, they thought they were doing that with Bortles. Hey, this guy had his best football. This guy got us here. We've only been here 3 times, and we did it with him. We're going to reward that.
Yeah.
You know, here's the guy to believe in now going forward. And you know, they tried it, and it was so. There's a lot of different ways. But you asked the question of if they lose in the divisional round versus go to the AFC title game and are 10 minutes. And by the way, played pretty well.
Yes.
In New England and are 10 minutes away. Does he get the money? I'm going to think about that one over the break.
Think about it, man.
Yeah,
Go to marinate that one a little bit.
Let's take a break. I do think, kind of to sum up what we're saying a little bit, I think it's a big year for a lot of those players.
It is?
A lot of those players. Narratives get formed, whether you like it or not. And James Robinson doesn't have as good a year or a real big drop-off of a year, and ETN starts to shine. Well, the narrative going into next season is going to be ETN's the guy. James Robinson is part of the running back room.
Sure.
That's a big difference than the way things were talked about coming off last season.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know?
Yes.
So I think it's a big year for a lot of these players that have already performed and done nice jobs.
Well,
they got to do it again.
Let me ask this real quick. You said Laviska Shenault, one of the all-time fan favorites in Jaguars history. What would he have to do to become that, in your opinion?
Hey, let's talk more about Laviska. Laviska and that Bortles question coming up next. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Warm and humid again today. Highs in the mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees. We'll see some midday to afternoon scattered showers and a few thunderstorms, heavy rain, and some lightning and gusty winds the main threats. Overnight, we drop down to the low 70s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jax on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beards Diamonds.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
All right, boss, that's the last house on the block.
So what's the tally?
Let's see, 11 houses have Safe Touch security signs.
Okay, Safe Touch means we cross them off our list. What else?
6 houses with no security system signs, 1 with a ding-dong doorbell camera sign.
Laughable.
Yeah, and 4 houses have big blue alarm signs.
Big blue alarm. You know, I still can't get over the fact that you can go online and buy one of their alarm signs for $25.
Wait, so you're saying there's a good chance that those big blue signs we saw are fake?
Well, not all of them. I'm sure some of them have actual alarm systems.
Well, one thing's for sure. When we see a Safe Touch sign, we know it's the real deal.
And that's just another reason we stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Is that on a bumper sticker yet?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Need a good paying job with a flexible work schedule and benefits? A1A Solar is looking for you. $70,000 is a reasonable first-year expectation. Seasoned reps can easily make 6 figures. Leads provided to you as well. Health, dental, 401k benefits. A1A Solar is a tremendous company. Voted best places to work in Jacksonville. And in 2016 was the Veteran-Owned Business of the Year. Be a part of an awesome company at A1A Solar. Just go visit A1ASolar.com.
Oh, boy, you have that look on your face. That grumbling Greg face. Boss asking you to do work? No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to Peak Push to Talk. Yeah, Push to Talk is back. Connect instantly to anybody, anywhere in the country. Boop. Get used to the boop. And working at work, too. It's kind of the thing we do.
Boop nationwide. Learn more at booptotalk.com.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the South Side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Your experience matters. At University of Phoenix, relevant life experience and eligible transfer credits can help you earn your degree faster and for less. In fact, undergrads who apply these credits, on average, save about 1 year and $11,000. Get the credit you deserve for time spent in the classroom, on the job, and in life. And see how much you can save at phoenix.edu. That's phoenix.edu.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
You know, when we first got here, you know, I liked him coming out of Colorado. I remember looking at him in Seattle and saying, wow, a tremendous athlete. But the gains that he's made and some of the strides that he's made and the spots we're putting him in has been really amazing. And he's been a guy that's almost showed up every day with a couple big plays you get excited about, along with Marvin Jones and DJ Shark and some of the other guys.
That is Brian Schottenheimer, Jaguars passing game coordinator. He's only in charge of completions.
He coordinates the completions. That's what you should call him. The completion coordinator. Sounds better, doesn't it?
That sounds really good.
It sounds a little more sexy.
It does. That
Passing
sounds
game
great.
coordinator.
Put that on a business card.
Mr. Schottenheimer.
Bossman Nick could probably do this. Hey, Bossman Nick, you know, you've been in radio for a while now, and kind of just the way it goes, right? I mean, like there was no passing game coordinator in football up until about 10 years ago, let's say. Probably Nick Saban or something. Like he has 562 assistants, so he decided, I got to give this guy a title because everybody likes a title.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Who doesn't like a title?
Yeah.
So what would you retitle the radio world? You're what, like a program director?
Yeah,
by title on your business card.
Sounds important.
It's actually fancier now. It's Director of Branding and Programming.
That's very interesting you say that, because I just did a sit-down interview with Nick Morrow, the new athletic director at UNF. We'll probably play some of that over the next couple of days and on TV this weekend. And the outgoing AD, which is Lee Moon. And I actually said to Nick, I said, Nick, what am I supposed to call you? Athletic director? Athletics director, which a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Which is probably more accurate, really. Or director of athletics. and he went with director of athletics. But I can honestly tell you, in my life, I've never said, "Hey, that's the director of athletics of such and such university."
You're the AD, sir.
Well,
and Nick,
and that's
you're
why.
the PD.
I'm the PD.
I'm sorry, man.
Listen, when I tell people in public,
you can't do it again. You can't change it.
Yeah, like I'll wear an ESPN shirt out, go to Costco or something, and they'll say, what do you do there? I'm like, I'm the program director. Because if I say I'm the director of branding and programming, they'll be like, what is that?
Yeah.
So program director's easier.
Though.
It does sound
I actually
fancy.
think director of programming.
Yeah.
What is it?
Director of programming and branding. It sounds fancy.
That does sound better.
Really good. Now, Nick,
because then you could say I brand Austin Lane.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he says? Well, hey, dude,
I brand.
Yeah, first of all, I mean, Nick, I love you, but I am unbrandable. I'll brand myself.
You're kidding me? You look like you got plenty of brands on you.
Hey, relax, man. You're rocking my Bucks shirt. Yeah.
But you got tattoos all over the place.
Oh, yeah, but those are my brand. You want to put Nick's name someplace on my arm? What are you talking about, man?
Remember that ESPN tattoo coming soon? I mean, this is where it all started. When are you going to signify that?
I mean,
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm dependent
you just
on
want
the
me to get an
numbers.
ESPN
You're not
tattoo?
dependent on the numbers.
You just want me to get an ESPN tattoo someplace?
Yes.
Let me see how the contract works out first, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I want to be.
Yeah.
Listen.
Say if I sign a new deal.
Remember your roots, dude.
I know. That's all my tattoos are, my roots. Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
listen,
theoretically,
you end up at ESPN. You end up as like the #1 top 40 show or whatever it is in the country.
Yeah.
Just remember your roots.
If I can write it off my taxes, I'll do it.
You don't need the ape. Ape tattoo. Go ESPN tattoo.
I mean, yeah, I hear you. I see what you're saying. I mean, I'm on the ESPN show right now, so yeah, I agree with you. Now, if I'm not on the show right now and we're talking like at a restaurant, then my tune's going to change a little bit. But for the sake of our show, you're absolutely right, Brent.
Yeah, you bet.
Hits me right in the head. Nick, real quick, I don't want to snitch on anybody here, but speaking of business cards, I put in my request about 3 weeks ago with Coos to get business cards. Still haven't got them. Haven't got an email. Haven't got anything about it. You don't have to say this on the air. Just go ahead and write me who I need to talk to in HR, whether it's a guy or girl, whatever the case may be. Just write me some names so I can contact and get him in trouble because Nick, it's been 3 weeks. It's been a little ridiculous, man.
I'm gonna open the door and yell for him right now.
Yeah, go ahead and get him in here.
I'm gonna leave the mic on so everyone can hear. Hey, Coos!
Oh, this is awesome. This is what we call pirate radio right here, man. This is how you do back.
By the way, you can hear that very well.
This is that Howard Stern stuff right here. Is he coming?
I don't know. I literally just screamed in the hallway.
Yeah.
So someone's gonna come running thinking there's a problem.
Yeah. Ready? Well, I mean, they're running in a lot of directions these days.
Yeah.
The greatest thing about this, you keep asking Nick.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing.
PD, Nick.
Coos doesn't have to answer to Nick. He's not associated anymore with this.
Yeah, but Nick, I mean, listen, you guys are different branches of the military, but you're still a general at the end of the day. If the general walks in with those 5 stars or 4 stars? 4 stars? A 4-star general? 5-star? Somebody have my back here. 4-star general. We'll say 4 stars. If Nick walks in with his 4 stars, man, you got to stand up and you got to pay his respects. Coos has got a 1.5 stars.
Yeah, he doesn't report to me, but he'll definitely
he's going to respect you.
He doesn't report to me, but he'll answer to me.
He's going to respect you. You better believe it. Hey, there's a chain of command here. You got to fall in line.
More on Laviska Shenault in just a moment. You asked the question earlier. Blake Bortles, if he doesn't beat Pittsburgh and go to the AFC Championship game, does he get the contract extension? That's a fascinating question. I almost wonder that even if it doesn't look like the way it looked, like what if they got beat 35-10 by New England and they were never even in it?
Yeah.
But you're a believer that if he didn't win the Pittsburgh game, he doesn't get the extension.
Yeah. And I'm going to put my Austin Lane stamp of approval on that. Guaranteed. I guarantee. If you ask, you ask your boy, Dave Caldwell, see what he says about it. Send him text right now.
That's a good question to ask him.
Text him right now. Hey, just out of curiosity.
He's like working for another team, so maybe
is he really?
Answer.
Is that?
Yeah, he's working for the Eagles.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I thought that was like a secret that we just broke some news, but no. Dang it.
No, it's not a secret.
I know.
You know what? Here's why I would usually come out of this question that you asked, and I'd be like, nah, man, it wouldn't hinge on a game. You know? Well, but the reason I say this, that I think you might be right, is I remember it being very, like it was never, if you go back to that time, what I think about, I remember the day the Bortles news broke, because I'd been given a heads up, and I was trying to break it.
Really?
And I just could not, and I was at a hotel in Orlando, because the kids were playing travel ball.
Okay.
And so I remember that, like, trying to find the confirmation of it and all this stuff. And even in that whole process, even days before or weeks before, or wondering, by that point, I think most people thought something was going to go get done. But even the conversations around were like, yeah, but I'm not convinced it's going to get done. Like, there was still a little bit of, well, I don't know. Where are the Jags going to fall here? Where are they going to land on this? You know, Tom Coughlin coming in. What's he going to, you know, it's this Tom Coughlin show now. This is not Dave Caldwell who has to say, hey, this is the pick we believe in, and let's see it through.
Yes.
So there were a lot of those conversations, if you go back and remember them. And so I don't think it was a slam dunk coming off that. But I do feel like the organization almost felt resigned to do it based on the success of that season.
Oh, you're being held ransom.
Like,
yes.
we're a step away.
Yeah.
How can you not think you're a step away when you come that close to the Super Bowl, right? So, and this organization has done that now twice, by the way, at least by my count, since I've been here. They thought they were a step away when they went up and grabbed Derek Harvey, and they were like, that's all we're missing. You know, Brady went 26 for 28 in the playoffs, 2007. We're missing Derek Harvey, man. Go get Derek Harvey. He'll sack Brady. We'll go to the Super Bowl. No, seriously.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's what they thought. Like, they thought they were one guy away, essentially.
I saw the draft capital. You're absolutely correct.
And boom, right? Look where it ended up.
Austin Lane came in for him.
A couple years later. You on mop-up duty. Mop up their mess.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't like that kind of thing. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
I was doing it a complimentary way.
What? Okay.
And now you go to Bortles, where they are so close, and they're like, well, I mean, look what he's done. I mean, we either go 50-year option with him, or we give him this just modest, in this day and age, 2-year deal. There's really not that much risk for the organization. Again, if you take the dollars involved in that for quarterbacks and the way they were going, it really wasn't like a ton of money.
Yeah.
If he had played well for one more year, the organization wouldn't have looked bad in that deal. Like, if he had just played well for the next year, not just the first month, but for the whole year. Yeah. Well, that ends up crashing down because they think they're close and they think they got their guy and they're going to ride with Bortles instead of going in a different direction. And boom, blows up, and here we are. Thankfully, to the point of Trevor Lawrence now, where they didn't have to make a decision like that.
For sure. Once again, I mean, I can't stress this enough. Hit up your boy Dave Call, ask him yourself. But here's what I think, Brent. After the 2016 season, the team goes 3-13. But that year, Bortles had more yards and had more touchdowns than in 2017.
Yes.
Now, once again, I didn't work in the media at the time, but just coming from a conscientious observer and a fan of the team and a guy who swore a lot in his living room when he would throw a pick six, but I didn't feel...
In front of his kid.
In front of my kid, by the way. Yeah, well, it was one of social services listening. Anyways, okay. Whatever, you're just going to snitch on me today.
And PETA and bathroom people and Porta John folks and all the rest haven't stopped us.
Well,
don't worry about social services.
Okay, gotcha. Done. But I don't feel like after that season, anybody was talking about, well, Blake Bortles, we got one here. Like, well, we should get him in a new contract right now. No, I get it. It was only like, what, that was 3 years into the league, so no one's really having that conversation yet.
No.
But
nobody wait and see mode.
But nobody was saying like, oh, well, we have the guy here. Like those conversations never came up after 2016.
No, there were plenty of detractors. Really, they're like,
Correct.
This guy ain't it.
2017 comes around, and like I said, he had less touchdowns, had less yards, now had less interceptions as well.
Yep.
But you go to the AFC Championship game. Now, I'm not sure like what the pulse of the fan base was like. Or do you extend him? Do you wait and see another year? Whatever the case may be. But I felt like that move was justified because, once again, the AFC Championship game. If you just go off of numbers alone, I don't think we're talking about it. Because you essentially have the same numbers as you did the previous year, and nobody's excited about it. But everyone's excited, at least from that front office, because you went to the AFC Championship game, and once again, you're plays away from going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, because there's two things that happened that year, though. Because they got Fournette, they finally put around, I can tell you this, and I think in my conversation with Gus Bradley back then, that they thought, listen, he needs a running game. Like, fine, Bortles can be okay. We think we can win with Bortles, but they need the play action. They need the running game. They need to be good in the running game, not just like, hey, throw it 35, 38 times, and then just, hey, let's run it here and there. Well, they figured that out in 17, and they watched that, go, and by that time Gus is gone, but maybe there was more belief of that from other folks too in the building that say, hey, look at what he did with the play action game. Again, he was like 18 touchdowns, no picks in the red zone. I mean, Fournette's having a pretty nice rookie season.
Well, and also the defense as well, playing very good complementary football.
Super, right? I mean, it's built for
running the football, stopping the run.
Yeah, so they were doing that, and he was benefiting, and this is why I hesitate to say, although you might be right because of the feeling around it, but this is why I hesitate to say that Bortles doesn't get the contract without beating Pittsburgh. Because I think he got the contract with his play in December. What people don't give Bortles enough credit for is December. December, he might have been the best quarterback in the National Football League for like 3 straight weeks. I know that sounds like ludicrous.
Checking the stats right now.
No, seriously, go check the stats.
Okay.
Believe
me.
Seriously, the stats were incredible.
Okay.
Like for this 3-week span, and in a critical time, like that's when they won the division. The last 2 games of the year didn't even matter because of what Bortles and company had done in early December to win 3 straight games. Houston was one, Seattle was another, and I forget the other game. But I mean, he was really, really good in that stretch. And that's where I think they were like, that guy can play this kind of football. You know how you tell me sometimes, like, hey, we've seen the ceiling or we've seen the good?
Yes.
You know, that's what I think they bought into. They bought into, hey, wow, this is what he could be. This is if we keep coaching this guy, he keeps getting better. Hackett keeps working with him. He's starting to turn around some of this stuff. That's what he can be. And that December month, to me, is what got him the contract. I don't know why we're talking about this so much, but I think it's kind of fascinating in hindsight. And that's what got him, I believe, the contract even more so than maybe getting to the AFC Championship or even 10 minutes away from the Super Bowl, although it could have played it was good for momentum. If they had bowed out 10-3 and he had the first half he had against Buffalo, right? Then I think they would have been a hard sell in Jacksonville and beyond to get him a contract extension.
So I got the 3 games in December that you're referring to.
Who was the other? It was Houston, Seattle, and who?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. I mean, they lit up Houston.
Yeah, so the Houston, okay, so Indianapolis, the first, okay, hang on, we'll start from the beginning. I think Houston was the first game in that December run.
There was a 3-game stretch where they put up a lot of points, whatever it is.
So Houston, he was 21 for 29, 326 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns.
How many picks, Eddie?
0 interceptions.
Okay.
And he had 0 interceptions through the streak, by the way.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Next game would have been Seattle. 18 for 27, 268 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Basically, now I wanted to say outdueled Russell Wilson. Wilson had a poor first quarter and a half, and then really came on strong and almost brought him back.
Wilson went 17 for 31, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Okay, so we basically did outduel even by the numbers pointed from Russell Wilson.
Yep. Correct. And then the last game against Indianapolis, he was 26 for 35, 309 yards, 2 interceptions. I'm sorry, 2 touchdowns, my bad.
No picks.
No picks, 2 touchdowns.
That's where he got the extension.
Yeah.
They took that 3-game sample. By the way, that was, to his credit, that was a critical time. They won the division.
Yeah.
They were going to the playoffs. Everything that happened because of that 3-week stretch. It was Indianapolis, it was Houston, and obviously Seattle, but they put themselves in position to win the division because of that stretch of football right there.
Yeah, but
I think that's what they said. It's, again, to your point, you bring this up. No, Houston wasn't good.
But neither was Indianapolis. They were 3-9 at the time.
Yeah, but it didn't matter.
Okay.
Well, Seattle was good.
Seattle was good. Yeah.
So, again, I'm just telling you, I think that's where he got the contract extension. But your point is a valid one because if they don't beat Buffalo, if they lose 6-3, well, I don't know if he gets the contract extension.
Yeah.
If they don't beat Pittsburgh. Even though, again, remember, he did provide a pretty decent game against Pittsburgh, I think it was, especially in the first. Oh, he didn't have to do that much. I think the defense did a lot. But I think he was okay in that game, and I think that helped them. And then he was okay for the first 3 quarters, really, against New England.
Yeah.
And they were beating the Patriots in Foxborough. And so, yeah, I think they bought into the 3 weeks of December and some of that good stuff and said, hey, we got our guy right here. Let's see it. Let's see it for a couple more years. Again, that was not that bad of a deal, the extension, if he plays well for like a season.
Yes.
But the problem is he played well for a month, and that was it. It was over.
The Seahawks were 8-4 when they played Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did play good football that month.
No, for sure.
He really did.
The numbers would say that. I agree with you there.
I want to get more on Laviska Shenault. You asked another question. Laviska, like, what makes him like a fan favorite? how does he elevate his status? Can he be that guy?
Yeah.
Almost like this romanticism with a player sometimes. Like you can have that with the quarterback, of course, if he does well.
Yeah.
But the position player is a little bit different. What does he have to do? We talk about it next. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
The narrative prior to the game is, what is Kevin Durant going to be? What is he going to do? Are we going to look at a guy after the game and say, well, see, here we go. Can he carry a team? Oh, he needed to go away from OKC to Golden State to win a big game. That question should never be brought up again as far as Kevin Durant.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Or streaming live on the ESPN app.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance is smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beard's Diamonds.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
All right, boss, that's the last house on the block.
So what's the tally?
Let's see, 11 houses have Safe Touch security signs.
Okay, Safe Touch means we cross them off our list. What else?
6 houses with no security system signs, 1 with a ding-dong doorbell camera sign.
Ha, laughable.
Yeah, and 4 houses have big blue alarm signs.
Big blue alarm. You know, I still can't get over the fact that you can go online and buy one of their alarm signs for $25.
Wait, so you're saying there's a good chance that those big blue signs we saw are fake?
Well, not all of them. I'm sure some of them have actual alarm systems.
Huh. Well, one thing's for sure. When we see a Safe Touch sign, we know it's the real deal.
And that's just another reason we stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Is that on a bumper sticker yet?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
It's time for some straight talk. You've got real work to do, but everyone's sucking up the free Wi-Fi faster than a Mocha Choco double frap on ice. So be your own hotspot. Now with Straight Talk Wireless, get 10 gigs of hotspot data with the ultimate unlimited plan. Just $55 a month on America's largest and most dependable networks. You don't have to find a hotspot. You are the hotspot. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
I despise analytics. It felt like Kevin Cash lost his ability to feel the game.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Or streaming live on the ESPN app.
I like the conversation we're having. A little revisionist history, but it's all right. About Blake Bortles. Old City Cap said, Now check. Now give us me the numbers on the last 2 games of the year, or the next 2 games.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I have to look those up.
Probably not the best.
No. I do remember thinking in that season, a couple of things. Jags had wrapped things up with 2 games to go. Again, this will be part of our 2017 30 for 30 someday. That it's coming out in 2035, by the way.
It's going to be regional, but yeah.
It's going to be big.
Okay.
But I remember thinking and wondering, because Jags went out to San Francisco and I think Tennessee were the last 2 games, and they got beat. In San Francisco, they looked bad. I remember it was a Christmas Eve game. And, Shanahan just tore them up.
Sure.
And, of course, he knew that defense as well, and he just a good mind, and Garoppolo just ripped them up.
Oh, wasn't that didn't Garoppolo have a really short passing yardage number, but he had a bunch of touchdowns?
He might have. I don't think so. I thought he threw it all over the yard. I think they scored over 35 points.
Maybe he did.
That.
Yeah, you're right.
But the bottom line there is we didn't know. What was hard to tell at that point is, okay, are they just really not that motivated because it doesn't matter that much? Because earlier in that day, remember, they're playing the late game in San Francisco. I think it was Tennessee or whoever else had a chance to win the division lost. And the 1 o'clock game, so they could no longer win the division. Basically, the Jags had clinched it by the afternoon game, as I remember, in San Francisco. And so you just kind of wondered, okay, did they kind of not look good because the wheels are falling off a little bit, or they just not that motivated? It didn't matter that much. They lose the last 2 games of the year. And then also thinking, how are they going to play in the postseason after losing 2 games in a row, even though they had all this momentum in the early part of December? Quite frankly, their defense played great in the first Buffalo game, but their offense didn't do anything, most of it.
So in that game against San Fran, San Fran put up 44 points on them. Garoppolo was 21 for 30, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 reception. So, that was it.
Gosh, it felt like more than that.
I wasn't right either. I wasn't right either, though. Because he only had 2 touchdowns.
You thought he had a 4-touchdown game with 200 yards passing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the David Garrard Dallas game.
Yes, good call.
Yeah, he had, I think, 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
But it wasn't like he had 380 yards passing.
Yep.
It was probably 2-something.
I'll never forget that game, my first start.
That was your first start game.
Yep.
Joe Cullen.
Hey, what's up, Marion Barber? Tackle for loss in the backfield. Let him know about it. Hey, by the way, big dude, Marion Barber.
Really?
Yeah. If you... whatever, man. I'll make fun of myself. So, because that's what I do.
It's either me or you. So.
I know, right? So, or it's my family, or people behind my back. Some others be me. No, so on that play, it was a pirate stunt. So I go from the C gap to the B gap because I had a tight end in my side, right? So I go from the C gap to the B gap. Boom, Marion Barber in the backfield. Now, me being a little cocky and being amped up because Joe Cullen gave me the pep talk, I'm like, "You're going down, dude. Here we go." Well, I tackle him up high. And I'm like, and you know when it's like, oh man, it's about to get bad? Like you have that feeling in your mind?
Well, I don't, but I hear what you're saying.
Dude, it would be like, for instance, if you're riding in a car and all of a sudden you can see you have the foresight to see this could be a car accident coming up. Someone's going to cut me off. And, you have the nervous feeling.
Yeah.
That's what I had. I'm like, oh, it's about to go bad.
Yeah, he's about to shake me.
Yeah, it's about to go bad. So thankfully, I got a hand around his shoe, and I kind of twisted his ankle a little bit, and he went down. But it could have been bad.
It could have been ugly.
He's a big dude.
Instead, you got the tackle.
Got the tackle for loss.
If you go back to your career, how often do you do this when you're going to sleep at night and be like, a play pops in your mind? Never.
The only time I talk about my career is pretty much on this show. My son doesn't even care. So. Yeah.
Well, I know. I'm just saying yourself.
No, never. Seriously, never.
Like in your meditating moments, nothing comes out? You don't remember a certain play?
No, if we're being honest here, I think more about high school.
Britain.
Oh, that's a dime a dozen. No, honestly, it's more about high school, I would say. Because I usually see my friends and I talking about it, and then I think about that night.
Yeah, so that sparks it.
Yeah, nothing really sparks the NFL plays. Every once in a while when a player gets juked, then I think about Drew Brees shaking me out of my shoes, and that was embarrassing for all parties.
Andrew Luck swearing.
Andrew Luck swearing is a good one.
Yeah.
And just the battles with that tackle from Tennessee, David Stewart, I think his name was.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, from Mississippi State. Go ahead and put this thing. No.
Put it down.
No,
you don't like
lay
him.
it down. Dude was, yeah.
We don't like him.
No, we don't like him at all.
Dirty?
We used to eye gouge each other and stuff in the pile. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I ask that question a lot, to people. And when we're doing stories, like, do you think about or in retrospect or what's an image that might pop out? Like, I always think of things that way. If I'm going to think about something, which I don't do, well, the reason I'm saying this is I don't do that very often. like I don't know what age you start to do that. But, like, I don't do that very often. Like, where I'm sitting there, like, thinking of, man, that game when I was 18 years old,
like
playing for the Townies.
Right?
Like, I don't know.
Maybe I think it's when you have grandkids.
Yeah.
You sit on the porch.
It might be. I mean, it might be at that age. But
you have some time.
You ask that question quite a bit. I mean, I ask that question quite a bit. But I think of it from an image standpoint. I don't remember, like, how every detail played out. I think, like, what's the snapshot image of, like, when you played or when I played or when the kids were little or whatever? What's that kind of that visual imagery that comes in instead of every detail? Some people are very good at remembering every detail. And by the time I get to the old guy sitting on the porch, I'll just make up every detail.
For sure. No, there's very vivid, like, I mean, I can detail a lot of stuff about my career and, like, plays that happened and, like, who was on the field, who was I lined up next to. Like, really? It's almost, remember, like, when LeBron James did that on the court? Now, he's, like, on a different level.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, like, that was insane.
You can remember every drop of sweat.
Exactly. But I can get pretty detailed in it.
All right. Hey, Sunshine and Rainbows brought to you by A1A Solar. I got something simple today.
Hit me with it. What do you got, man?
I watched the Red Sox beat the Rays last night in extra innings.
Yeah.
That's not the sunshine part, though the Yankees lost, so that's good, too. I kind of like the extra inning format. And I'm not a guy who likes to change it. We talk about this all the time, the replays.
Tradition.
I really think, I hope it stays. I wish they would use a little more strategy sometimes than just kind of play it out. But
you want to see bunts? Is that what you're saying, bunts?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't understand that if you didn't give up any runs in the top, why you wouldn't just, like, bunt, sacrifice, game over, or whatever. Why swing away and pop up a 3-0 pitch like the Rays did and give the Red Sox another chance to go score 4 runs? Thank you very much.
Bunts.
But that's your Sunshine and Rainbows brought to you by A1A Solar. Need a good paying job with a flexible work schedule and benefits? A1A Solar is looking for you. $70,000 is a reasonable first-year expectation. Leads provided as well, health, dental, 401k benefits. A1A Solar, a tremendous company. Go visit them at A1ASolar.com. We'll be right back. Football at 5. LaVisca Chenault. We talk about him next on ESPN 690.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance is smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. The
Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beard's Diamonds.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
All right, boss, that's the last house on the block.
So what's the tally?
Let's see, 11 houses have Safe Touch security signs.
Okay, Safe Touch means we cross them off our list. What else?
6 houses with no security system signs, 1 with a ding-dong doorbell camera sign.
Ha, laughable.
Yeah, and 4 houses have big blue alarm signs.
Big blue alarm. You know, I still can't get over the fact that you can go online and buy one of their alarm signs for $25.
Wait, so you're saying there's a good chance that those big blue signs we saw are fake?
Well, not all of them. I'm sure some of them have actual alarm systems.
Well, one thing's for sure. When we see a Safe Touch sign, we know it's the real deal.
And that's just another reason we stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Is that on a bumper sticker yet?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Colehane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. ColehanesIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Colehane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The Celtics finalizing a deal to hire Nets assistant Ime Udoka as their new head coach. He got strong reviews from Celtics players who played for the U.S. national team in the 2019 World Cup tournament when Udoka was an assistant. The clock continuing to tick toward tip-off of Game 1 of the NBA's East Finals between the Hawks and Bucks. Coming off a series sweep of Miami and 7-game series with Brooklyn, Milwaukee center Brooks Lopez says they know what a great opportunity they have to win a title, and the Bucks should make quick work of the Hawks, believes First Take co-host Stephen A. Smith.
This Milwaukee Bucks team, considering its size, its perimeter shooting ability, its defensive prowess, its experience, the fact that even if Giannis is bad, he can still give you 25 and 10, along with their depth.
Game 1, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio. NCAA President Mark Emmert says the association's working on interim rules that will permit college athletes to earn money off their fame and celebrity by July and act as a bridge until there's a permanent solution.
Coming up Thursday, the Bucks got past the Nets, and now everything is set up for them to win the East with just the Hawks standing in their way. We'll tell you how Giannis responds in Game 1. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Thursday morning on ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I do think it's an interesting amount of pressure on Stafford here, right? I mean, like, this is a former #1 pick who's had a really good career, but it's been in Detroit. So I think people are like, oh, it's Detroit. What are you really going to do there? I think if Stafford delivers at a high level, then that has an effect on his legacy as part, you know, in terms of his NFL career, right? Like, and if he doesn't, then maybe you're like, well, maybe he wasn't the right guy all along. So I think that if you flip it a little bit and look at the player, I think it's an interesting referendum on Stafford having moved to a better situation.
Dan Graziano from ESPN. I think Stafford and the Rams are interesting to watch. By the way, Otis Anderson, who played his high school ball at University Christian, played his college ball at UCF. Marcel just sent this to me that he has been signed by the Rams. Got a lot of locals out there on the Rams. I mean, with local connections, of course, Ramsey being one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
The other corner out there from Creekside. And now Otis Anderson Jr. Going to has signed with the Rams, so good for him. He's a good player at UC. And oh, by the way, Johnny Wolford. I mean, the Rams are like Jacksonville West.
That's the pipeline.
They're serious. I mean, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of connections.
Yeah.
On one NFL team.
Bortles was there.
Bortles was there. Mm-hmm. You're right. I'll have to look up and down. I'm sure there's a couple more. Dante Fowler was there.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, you should have want to go in the history of it. Yeah, but that was recent history, to your point.
Yep.
Good for Otis Anderson. Matthew Stafford and the Rams, they are going to be pretty interesting to watch. I think you can make the case that they are, I don't know, I think every team has so many storylines that they're fascinating and blah, 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 blah. But I don't know if this happens very much in the NFL, that you, especially with a quarterback, that you see kind of this evolution of what happened with McVay and Goff and the whole Stafford thing. Like, it was almost like, seriously, McVay was all but admitting that he didn't like Goff. You know?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now he's like over the moon, of course, on Stafford and saying all these things. And in hindsight, it looks like he even more disliked working with Goff.
Yeah.
Like it couldn't wait to unload him, type of thing.
See, to me, and to echo Dan Graziano, what he was saying, whether is there added pressure now on Matthew Stafford? Like, I don't buy into that, just because I feel like Stafford. I mean, if you can have a career in Detroit, what he had with his personnel, he's going to absolutely crush it and probably going to feel a little more comfortable in Los Angeles. So I don't think there's more pressure. I think there's more pressure actually on the coaching staff, on Sean McVay, because look what you gave away to get Matthew Stafford, right? And you're supposed to be this quarterback / offensive guru. Well, now you have a guy who was highly touted in Detroit coming to town who's, still probably has a couple of good years left. If you can't make it work now with Matthew Stafford, that's going to be a precedent on Sean McVay, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Like, I don't really view this as a ton of pressure on Stafford. I think I'd say, hey, man, go play ball the way you played ball, and look what we got around you that you didn't have around you before, and you're going to be automatically better.
Oh, by the way,
how much better is that? I don't know.
Have you seen our defense? Oh, here's another 3-and-out, Matthew.
Exactly.
Enjoy. Yeah.
But I will say this, and this might be a fair indictment on Stafford, that you could put up those kind of numbers and still have some talent. I mean, they weren't void of talent in Detroit, and have as miserable of a record as he did. Usually, again, he is one of the gross exceptions. If your quarterback puts up those numbers and looks like that and plays like that, the win-loss record does not usually look the way it does.
Correct.
It's a weird thing. And I think a lot of people are willing to do kind of what we're doing, and that is putting the blame mostly on Detroit and a poorly run organization and not making the right choices and all that stuff.
Of course.
But in that respect, well, you got all of that now. I mean, you got a guy who's supposedly be a very good coach. He's already gone to the Super Bowl as a young coach. You got this great defense.
Yep.
You got plenty of players around you on offense.
Yep.
I mean, you really you have no excuses other than the fact that you play in a very difficult division. That's like your only excuse. But it will be interesting to see. And I'm not even saying that means you got to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not, to me, the line for him. What I would be a little bit concerned about if Stafford and the Rams all of a sudden win like just 8 games, because really with you playing quarterback, they could win 8 games.
Thanks, Brian.
With Goff, they could have won 8 games. Mm-hmm. So where did the bump come from, right? Where did he elevate? Does it look like he's elevating more than Goff would? That's the pressure that might lie and might be like, for some reason, some guys just don't win. And Stafford, is he one of those guys that just doesn't win?
See, I mean, I get it. And whether it's fair or not, it's the way that it is. But wins and losses, it stems on 2 people, right? It stems on the head coach, stems on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, simple as that. And yes, Stafford hasn't won a lot in Detroit. You can't argue that. I mean, that's not up for debate. I understand that. But at the same time, we just talked about Blake Bortles in 2017, who got a new contract. Why? Because he had a defense that played complementary football. He had a running game in Leonard Fournette that was a game changer, and that made Blake Bortles' life a lot easier. You get the sense in Detroit. I mean, I forgot like how many seasons they went without having a running back that got over 100 yards in a game, but it was like a monumental record. I think it's maybe still going on. I can't remember where we're at now with that. But like, and a defense that was very porous. The fact that they tried to bring in a guy, Matt Patricia, who comes from a very good bloodline, a very good family tree with Bill Belichick, and still can't get the job done, and still gave up 5 touchdowns a game to Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I get it. Stafford, in terms of the win-losses, not really effective. In terms of the resume, though, and the numbers, like I predict him to go to Los Angeles and be like, hey, if I do what I did in Detroit, we're going to be fine. Like, because we have the defense to take care of it. We have the running game to take care of it. All I got to do is keep being me. I think he understands that, and I think he can do that. The real question comes with Sean McVay, though, is, okay, last year you tailored your offense to kind of fit your run game because you weren't confident in Jared Goff. Well, what happened? You went to Green Bay and went to the playoffs and went to the divisional round. No, you didn't go to the Super Bowl, but you still had I think you had a season that people weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And you did pretty well. But now what are you going to do? Now you got a guy in Matthew Stafford who you just traded, you have a lot of equity for, who on paper and on film is the better quarterback than Jared Goff. So now how do you evolve your offense around that? Because last year your offense wasn't that bad. You had injuries and you still made it work to your liking. But now what do you do with Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the pressure really is more on McVay and the organization for making the move and bringing him in. Certainly is the case. You asked a question earlier in the show. He's got football at 5 right now on ESPN 690. Laviska Shenault, does he have a chance to be like the fan favorite And what does that look like? It's interesting, right? You're going to think about fan favorites, and you're like, okay, well, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a fan favorite, no doubt. I think
Marvin Jones.
Yeah, could be, right? DJ Chark, Josh Allen. Those guys, hey, listen, good players are fan favorites. But then there's like a guy sometimes that's a little bit under the radar, but people love him.
Yeah.
You know? And it's hard to describe what that looks like. It just kind of surfaces. And it does. I mean, and I think that's what I'm talking about with Laviska, because he adds the creativity to the offense. I think people love the fact that you can't tackle him one-on-one. Like, he is dragging people and piles of people as a receiver. You just don't see that. Yeah. So he does something that you don't see very often. I think right now or last year, everybody kind of didn't know what to think about James Robinson at the beginning of the year, but by the end of the year, they're like, man, give me a number 30 jersey. I love what that guy's all about, right? And he was being very productive too, but I love what that guy's all about. I think Laviska has a chance to be that for the Jacksonville Jaguars, depending on how they use him. Earlier in the show, we heard from Brian Schottenheimer, and he's kind of excited about the places that they put him. Like, what does that mean? You know, we've seen him on the bingo card. We did the bingo card. I mean, from the backfield to jet sweeps to, we didn't really see the screen much, but to these short passes and then break a tackle and get somewhere. I still don't know what it's going to look like in an Urban Meyer, Darrell Bevell, Brian Schottenheimer system with Trevor Lawrence throwing the football, with the added wrinkle of Marvin Jones and ETN to the already James Robinson and DJ Chark. I don't know if that means Laviska Shenault's not going to get enough touches, or I don't know if this guy's going to be, oh my gosh, how do you stop him? Because look what we've created. You got to put all your attention on all this stuff and go ahead, try to get that guy one-on-one. So often we talk about a running back matching up one-on-one with like a linebacker. Really, in this offense, if you want a mismatch, go put Laviska Shenault on somebody one-on-one.
Yeah, no, for sure, because the guy is impossible to tackle. You know, when you say, can he be a fan favorite? And obviously, once again, going back to the stats, well, if he has 10 touchdowns this year, well, then yeah, fan favorite, easy as that. But, you know, I see him and how he's going to fit in this offense now, in my opinion, as more of a traditional receiver as opposed to the gadget guy, because now you have Travis Etienne, who's probably going to be the gadget guy, right? And probably, with all due respect, rightfully so, because usually you want a guy with speed. No disrespect to Laviska, he's fast, but, you know, he's not the electricity of a Travis Etienne. But, like, I think of Laviska Shenault, and I think of, like, an Anquan Boldin, a guy who obviously is a behemoth of a man, who's hard to bring down, hard to tackle, can't take him one-on-one, who's super underrated in terms of the run game, in terms of, you know, staying on his blocks and making sure that opens up. I see him more like that. And the question remains, well, then was Anquan Boldin always a fan favorite? I think you can go maybe. Because, I mean, depending on what team you were talking about when he played for. But I always thought, like, Anquan Boldin was a little bit of a cult hero just because the guy embraced contact. It's a different type of mindset than what we're accustomed to seeing from a wide receiver. Wide receivers are used to seeing, okay, you break away, you score a touchdown, or you make a business decision, you run out of bounds, and you live to see another day. I don't think Laviska Shenault is built like that. I think Laviska Shenault would rather run over you than go out of bounds. That's rare. That's Anquan Boldin-ish. I think that if he can find some of that, yeah, why not be a fan favorite?
Yeah, that's good. It's a good call. I was trying to think as you're saying Anquan Boldin. I get what you're saying. A lot of the dirty work and that dirty stuff, and which can equate to fans appreciate that. They like that, man. They see a killer block down the field or something like that. And the football savvy fans do like that.
Yeah, but also like played with that reckless abandonment, or
But I don't know. I guess I'm trying to think as you say it. I don't know. Was he that kind of lovable, fan favorite kind of guy? I feel like Deebo Samuel had a little bit more of that, and that's a guy we've talked about with Laviska in the past. Deebo, because of his name,
sure,
but because of the way they used him, that looked a little bit different. Had more, and because they had success, right? We were seeing it in the Super Bowl, and he was starting to really make a run in that postseason. But he became that guy, in my estimation. Maybe Laviska with a cool name can be like Deebo, too.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to build the brand, just put a squat rack when he scores a touchdown and watch him squat 515 pounds. Just like literally have, what's the strength coach's name again? My bad.
Schlegel.
Schlegel, yeah. Just have Schlegel set it up 515 or 530 in the end zone, scores a touchdown, Laviska gets underneath it, Schlegel spotting him, obviously making sure we're being safe here, but then squat it for like 5 times and then go to the sidelines.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You can do some fun. I mean, they should put that on the video board or something, or on social media.
I told him the Terminator celebration, but nobody listens to me. Remember that whole thing where you pound the bleachers? Yeah, but nobody wants to listen to me, so it is what it is.
Well, let's listen to Darrell Bevell right now and the growth of Laviska Shenault as he goes into this season under Urban Meyer and company.
Yeah, I really like what I see from Laviska. You know, I remember him coming out and us doing, you know, the workup on him as a wide receiver coming out. And, you know, he's a big, strong, physical player and the guy that really needs the ball in his hands. So that's the first thing that you got to figure out. Like, how do we get it to him? And then, you know, what does it look like? You know, there's easy, simple ways that you can kind of hand it to him and get it to him. But there's also, you know, routes and things. And so that's where I wanted to progress to and see what he was able to do as a wide receiver. And really like what I see. I think it's really important to him. He loves this game. He's another guy that's been here every day. He's grinding. He's got a great looking body, and he works in the weight room. He works on his conditioning. He's working to keep himself on the field, which I think is always important. And the skill set out there is really undeniable.
Well, that's a lot of high praise. That's not dancing around a question about Laviska Shenault. That's like, hey, that's a guy we're going to use. Mm-hmm. Like, we think we can have fun with this. Mm-hmm. And I like listening to the offensive minds about players like that. I think there are times that you can really tell if you've been around this stuff long enough that like a Schottenheimer or Bevel's just answering the question, obviously doesn't want to criticize the player, but isn't that excited. I think there are other times that it's like, it's almost like wait until you see what we do with this guy.
Yeah, it's kind of Josh Allen effect.
Yeah, a little bit, right? ETN and I think Shenault, if you listen to the way they're responding to questions about those players, I think that's what comes across to me. They don't say that, and this is not a disrespect to, but they don't have that kind of level of excitement about a guy like James Robinson. And why is that? Well, because James Robinson is kind of what it is. He's a running back who's going to hopefully slam through the offensive line for 5-6 yards, break one here or there, hopefully give you 100 yards a game. But we know what that is. There's not a secret about James Robinson. There's almost this sense amongst Bevel and Schottenheimer and guys when they talk about players like ETN and Shenault that I know something you don't know because you have no idea how we're going to use them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so I like that feeling. Now we'll see if they can execute it and do it. And I do think these guys, I think Chenault's an interesting one. I think he's tricky. Mm-hmm. Because I think you can draw all this stuff up on paper. Mm-hmm. That looks cool and looks different and looks like, okay, wait until you see this. But if you don't have the flow of the game to go along with the way you want to use him, well, then you don't get a chance to use him. And I think that's what they ran into last year. I think they had issues because they weren't sustaining drives. They weren't running enough plays. They just didn't have the flow on offense to be able to say, okay, now it's time to watch this, see Laviska out in the backfield or running the jet sweep. They really their offense wasn't clicking like that. If they can get their offense moving, I think then you get to see more opportunities for a player like a Deebo Samuel, a player like a Laviska Shenault, and ETN even.
Yeah. I think where this all gets lost in translation, though, with Laviska Shenault, is that we forget that he could be a pretty damn good just wide receiver,
just
in general,
flat wide receiver.
Because if you look at what he did in college when he was playing and wasn't hurt, and even what you saw last year a little bit, like this guy, he can be a mismatch. Like you don't see a lot of receivers with his strength, with his type of skill set. So if you're in the red zone, or even if it's 1st and 10. And you got a guy that you can put on the outside because he's got the. I mean, I think he's fast enough to do that. Or you put him in the slot against the slot corner. Good luck with that. The guy can just toss you aside like a bag of potato chips. Well, now you got something. So yeah, I'm not sure what this is going to look like. I'm not sure how intricate it's going to be with the jet sweeps and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we can't neglect the fact that Laviska Shenault could be just a heck of a wide receiver, and that's it. That's the title. That's the one spot on the bingo card. And if he can be that, we'll take that all day.
That's a good call. And I think that he probably did. He impressed. His hands impressed. I think you're right. I think we do get, and I'm guilty of this. Mm-hmm. I get wrapped up in wow, I can't wait to see them use them. Well, let's cross off the bingo card. But what about just the, 15-yard pattern, catch the ball, get another 5 yards after, and now it's a 20-yard gain.
Yeah, right? For sure.
I mean, that exists too.
It does.
But I do remember there's some highlight, like you just say, as a normal receiver, not somebody who's running different plays and utilized in different ways. You'd be like, guy's good.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So he does have just that element, if you will, to his game. Let's get Captain Rick on the line right now. It's the Florida Sportsman Fishing Report here on a Wednesday. Rick Rouse joins us. What's happening, man?
How we doing, Brent?
Doing excellent.
I tell you, I think I picked a very good week to fish out of Stewart this week.
You still down there?
Sail fishing's been good. Yep, tomorrow's our last day. But the issue up there, oh my gosh, it's been very tough for the guys real muddy water, real strong current offshore. And here comes, of all things, a northeaster in June. That almost never happens, Brent. And we're going to see 20 knots by Thursday afternoon of strong northeast winds. So that's a little unusual. With how about some highs of like 77? I mean, it's going to be crazy now. The wind backs off a little bit, but for everybody that wants to know, this week's Kingbuster tournament has been canceled. It is supposed to be this weekend. It will be rescheduled, I believe, July 23rd through 25th. Even the inshore fishing remains tough as the muddy water from all the rain continues to filter out. So, Brandon, it hasn't been a real good week for fishing in our area, but you can count on the fact that we'll be back to bring you another report about it tomorrow, brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing.
Hey, Rick, let me keep you for a moment because I think these are piling up these days over the last month of not being great. I mean, do you remember a time this time of year where we've had just day after day or week after week of not the best conditions up this way, or is this somewhat of a common thing every couple of years?
No, I tell you, Brent, you ask an excellent question, and you're right. We generally have more stable weather in June than we have had this year. We have dealt with more wind all spring and into the early summer than we are used to dealing with. We have had more days canceled that we wanted to get offshore. It just hasn't been as easy. I think the fishing has been pretty good, but picking the days to go has been a real crapshoot, more so than I've seen in May and June in a long time.
All right, good answer there. Good luck down in Stewart. Bring home some big ones down there in South Florida. All right, man, that's Captain Rick Rouse. Make sure you check him out each and every day here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, right around 5:15, and on Saturday mornings on ESPN 690, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. I really am. We talk about Laviska Shenault. I'm really looking forward to this offense.
Yeah.
I know what they kind of unveil. Please don't disappoint us.
Just get us a couple screen passes. Can we get the beaks wet on a couple screen passes, please? Please do that.
Yeah, maybe Trevor's throwing it downfield so much that you just don't even need the screen pass.
No, I want to see it. I mean, a Travis Etienne screen pass? Imagine this. Etienne in the slot, James Robinson in the backfield. They fake a screen pass to James Robinson and get Travis Etienne in the slot on a screen pass. 888. And my bad, 888 out the gate.
I think we should, going into the season, this is like September time, draw up our favorite play we want to see the Jags run.
I like that.
Yeah.
Should you pass it on to Coach?
Yeah, no, sure.
I'll send a text message.
Coach might be listening to the show.
I'll send a text message.
Yeah, no doubt.
I was number.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Warm and humid again today. Highs in the mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees. We'll see some midday to afternoon scattered showers and a few thunderstorms, heavy rain, and some lightning and gusty winds the main threats. Overnight, we drop down to the low 70s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
All right, boss. That's the last house on the block.
So what's the tally?
Let's see. 11 houses have Safe Touch security signs.
Okay, Safe Touch means we cross them off our list. What else?
6 houses with no security system signs. 1 with a ding-dong doorbell camera sign.
Laughable.
Yeah. And 4 houses have big blue alarm signs.
Big blue alarm. You know, I still can't get over the fact that you can go online and buy one of their alarm signs for $25.
Wait, so you're saying there's a good chance that those big blue signs we saw are fake?
Well, not all of them. I'm sure some of them have actual alarm systems.
Well, one thing's for sure. When we see a Safe Touch sign, we know it's the real deal.
And that's just another reason we stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Is that on a bumper sticker yet?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
If an education can help you prepare for a career change, here's an opportunity. University of Phoenix is awarding up to $1 million in new scholarships this month. You could earn between $2,000 and $3,000 in a non-cash tuition scholarship. See which one you may qualify for at phoenix.edu.
Heating up And so are the savings at Beard's Diamonds.
If you're about to pop the question, celebrate an anniversary or birthday, you're in luck. It's Beard's Diamonds' most exceptional finance offer of the year.
5 years, 0% financing with nothing down.
Yes, shop Beard's Diamonds everyday low price on anything in the store or at beardsdiamonds.com. Then divide your total price by 60, and that's your monthly payment.
With absolutely nothing down.
How about a $6,000 three-stone designer setting?
You pay only $100 a month.
Or a $4,500 one-carat diamond solitaire pendant necklace.
You pay just $75 a month.
And every purchase at Beard's Diamonds is backed by our free lifetime warranty.
Now you can go bigger and get her the diamond ring she's always dreamed about and spread your payment out for 5 years and pay absolutely nothing in interest.
But hurry, just like an afternoon shower, these savings will be gone. Shop now at beardsdiamonds.com or at the St. John's Town Center.
Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed at Beard's Diamonds.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
Oh, boy, you have that look on your face. That grumbling Greg face. Boss asking you to do work? No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to Peak Push to Talk. Yeah, Push to Talk is back. Connect instantly to anybody, anywhere in the country. Boop. Get used to the boop. And working at work, too. It's kind of a thing we do.
Boop nationwide. Learn more at booptotalk.com.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance is smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at Federally insured by NCUA.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Cohen's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. CohensIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Cohen's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
When you start to realize that the reason New Orleans Saints hadn't made a Super Bowl in the last few years is Drew Brees. Drew Brees wasn't the same guy late in season.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN+.
I will say this. I say, you know how Girardi checked Scherzer or called him out? I think there should be a punishment if they don't catch anything on the guy, because I think that Scherzer, you know, he's one of the best pitchers of our generation, and to see him get checked, and I think it was first and third situation or guys on base and messed up his rhythm. I think he ended up getting out of it, but you better find something if you're going to call him out like that. So maybe there should be like a punishment if a manager checks a guy and there isn't anything or something like that. But other than that, it is what it is. It's whatever.
It's interesting to hear all these good pitchers talk about this topic. And I would say Clayton Kershaw in that response, and again, we're overreacting to everything. And I think by the way, Kershaw's been pretty cool on it, been like, yeah, you know, it's probably a good strategy to break people's rhythm and do that. But then he turns around and says there should be a punishment. Well, that's like saying You can't call a timeout before a guy's about to take his second free throw. I mean, I know you're not checking him for illegal stuff, but I mean, it becomes gamesmanship, and if you can do it within the rules, you can do it. I mean, a lot of batters will call time, and to disrupt the pitcher's rhythm at various ways. It gets kind of annoying, but they will do it. So it's fascinating. Again, part of the problem you have is this is all experimental right in the middle of a season for baseball. And that's why you're getting these wide range of reactions, and I don't think we're done with it. I think we're going to continue to get it. I think they're going to bring up some pretty good conversation points as well. Again, I'm a huge baseball fan. The one I'm a little bit tired of already is, okay, well, I might throw at a guy's head. I mean, even with sticky stuff, you might throw at a guy's head. I mean, accidentally. You might lose the grip on one. I mean, it just happens. It's part of the game. And they've gone over the top with that kind of narrative to me already. I do ask the question. I'm like, wow, it's amazing you can throw a strike without having something on your hand. And I just don't buy it. I don't buy the fact that you can't do that. Now, I've never thrown a ball 98 miles an hour. I've thrown plenty of baseballs, though. And I've never really, I've never let one go like that. So it's totally different. I understand you have to let it go. If you're going to throw with that velocity, you got to basically just say, hey, I got to let it go. And I'm going to throw it as hard as I can, and I have a good idea where it's going. Like, there is something to that. It's the comfort level you get to when you're in the PGA Tour, and you can just swing as hard as you can and let the driver fly and not going to end up in someone's driveway. Like if I did that, it's ended up in the driveway because I let it go. I probably hit it as far as I've ever hit it before, but it did not go anywhere in the vicinity. I understand what they're saying with it, but they're almost going over the top with it to the point where it's like, well, I just can't. I don't know how I'm going to be able to throw a strike. Good luck.
So was sticky stuff good until this just happened? I mean, or is everyone just saying we all cheated the whole time and we should make it all legal? I mean, it seems confusing.
Yeah, I think there's some ambiguity on all of it, but it's tale as old as time. In one respect. But I think they've come up with the concoction of concoctions that really have impacted the spin on the ball. And so I think that's what science has found. That's what Major League Baseball has learned. That's why we're seeing now this sample of so many strikeouts, spin rates up to the point. I think from Gaylord Perry on, people did stuff to get from, again, a rosin bag to whatever, to make sure you could grip and feel good about where the ball was going to go, more for throwing a strike, and trying to get a guy out and trying to hit your spot. Now, I mean, they sell spider tack. I mean, it's a concoction that they sell that says, hey, basically use this and you'll get a good grip on it and your ball's going to react better to it, essentially is what they've said. So, again, I think this solution is really simple. And sometimes you got to get if you get in the weeds on it, it's probably not as simple as I think. But if you really get just from a logic standpoint, this is where I usually just go ask like a 12-year-old kid, and they'll come up with the smart reason, right? They'll come up with the most logical way, non-emotional way, won't take sides kind of way. But I think in a strange way, I can be that person here. I can be the 12-year-old kid because I think you take whatever that substance is and you create one for these pitchers that they feel calm. You get the 5-10 best pitchers in the league and say, hey, I feel pretty good gripping this thing. And my spin rate's not so far off the charts that it looks like it's impacting the baseball to that degree, much like pine tar's used. I mean, I talked to some people this last week, and they're like, well, if you can't use the spider tack, then hitters shouldn't be able to use pine tar. Like, I don't think that's true, though, because what pine tar prevents is the bat flying back at the pitcher. So that's what the pitchers are saying. They're like, well, if I use this sticky substance, the ball's not going to hit you in the head. Okay, so from that, it's a comparable thing. But we're also learning, it feels like, that strikeouts are way up because of this sticky substance. Home runs are not way up because of pine tar. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that's been proven.
Yeah.
You know, unless you put it all the way up the barrel. That's why it was legal. That's why George Brett got, you know, the famous ejection.
Yeah.
So that's where, to me, it's different. Yeah, it's okay from a safety standpoint. That's a good comparison. But from a performance standpoint, that's not a good comparison.
True.
I mean, the comparison to this seriously is steroids. It's like, hey, our numbers went way up when we did this. Or it's juicing the ball. Our numbers went way up when we did this. It's raising the mound years ago, Bob Gibson. Well, nobody could hit him when that's the mound. Then they had to lower the mound back down, you know? So those are, it's different than say there's beyond, this conversation goes beyond the safety of it. Although the safety of it should be part of the conversation.
Well, it should be the most important part of the conversation.
Well, I think pitchers are saying it should be the most important part of the conversation. Yeah. The problem I have with it, right, and we'll see. They've already, by the way, in the last couple of weeks, gone away from, like, I mean, the pitchers started weaning themselves off this substance. You know, I think Garrett Cole was pretty clean, and he had some good starts, and pitchers have done pretty well without it before it got tested Monday.
Yeah.
And it's not like all of a sudden on SportsCenter every night we're talking about guys getting hit in the head.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think we're seeing that. Now, we could. I think that's what we have to watch for. Are these pitchers right about, hey, they're going to start pegging people and losing control and hitting? I know there was the Kevin Pillar moment in the face, but that was even before this conversation.
Correct.
That was a kind of like a one-off thing for the New York Mets when he got hit in the face. So I think we have to seriously keep an eye on that, depending on where you fall on this topic. But until I kind of see that, and unfortunately that's kind of the way this is going to go for me, I don't know if I buy it completely. It's just not a good enough reason. But I think the solution's easy. Just find somewhere in the happy medium. Find somewhere between a rosin bag and spider tack. There's got to be something.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, wait till the end of the season, but yeah.
Well, and that too. By the way, I think universally everybody said that.
Ridiculous.
I think a lot of people have said that. I don't know if this whole conversation in the middle of the season, almost like we have to do a before and after. You know how people do the splits in the All-Star break?
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a split of pre-ruling of Major League Baseball on sticky substance and post.
Yeah.
And we got to look at the stats. And it'll be interesting to see what they tell us, if anything. You know, while we're on a little baseball, I wanted to get this in because Jacob deGrom, who's the best pitcher that you've seen pitch?
In person?
No, kind of like you're a baseball fan.
Ever?
Yeah, like who do you remember? It doesn't have to be from like the Brewers or anybody.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's Pedro Martinez. Like I watched Roger Clemens as a kid. But Pedro Martinez, like the 3-year window he had, where people could not hit him. Like it was unbelievable. It was magnificent. It was actually right on the cusp of the steroid era, and they could not hit Pedro Martinez. And listen, I watched Roger Clemens, and as a kid growing up, he was tremendous. He was terrific. I mean, you can name a ton of pitchers, but I would say in my lifetime, the one that I would compare to like Bob Gibson, who I wish I could see and could have seen, because he was before my day, I would say it's Pedro Martinez. I've never seen anybody as brilliant as him over, say, like a 3-year window.
So to me, as a kid, and seeing this guy pitch in person, it's Randy Johnson. It's the big unit. Now, maybe it was more of just like the way he went about his business and being, you know, just a freak in nature on that mound, and the way that it looked in the delivery, being a lefty and that slider and everything. But to me, it's Randy Johnson.
Yeah, well, a lot of people right now would say, or if you're a kid that's not that old, you would say Jacob deGrom is into that category. And he's starting, for me, to put up the numbers to get into the category of like Pedro Martinez. And again, you could start comparing to the Bob Gibsons of the world. I mean, we're talking about for not just a season, but for years being the shutdown guy that nobody can hit. Sticky substance or no sticky substance. You know, whatever it is. Run support, no run support. I don't know what it is. There's a variety of reasons what makes someone unhittable. It's not just a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, because there are plenty of those. There's movement, there's arm angle, there's slots, there's where the ball's coming from, how it breaks. You ever see those overlays? It's terrific.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, it's terrific. It's awesome unless you're a hitter, because I don't know how the hell you do
stressful.
It. But Buster Olney had this to say about Jacob deGrom. Was he a little overdramatic?
Jacob deGrom, we're seeing right now, is the best pitcher that we've ever seen. That start last night was the embodiment of his surgical precision in how he pitches, because he dominates that corner, low and away to right-handed hitters, and low and in to left-handed hitters like nobody that we've seen since Mariano Rivera. And Rivera was a relief pitcher who did it 1 inning at a time. He threw 70 pitches last night. 60 were in that spot, blown away, and the Braves were completely helpless. Some numbers for you. He's faced 250 hitters this year. He struck out 117 of those, 47%. And think about these numbers. Against the 1, 2, and 3 batters on opposing teams, that's the first, second, and third hitters in opposing lineups. Those guys are 6 for 89 with 45 strikeouts. They've scored 1 run. We're in the middle of June.
I love Buster only going almost Tim Kirk shit on
his agent? My word.
It is pretty incredible. The numbers are staggering. What I would say, the strikeout numbers right now in my mind, considering the way the game is played, don't do a lot for me.
Yeah.
But it is pretty incredible to have a 47% strikeout ratio, as a starting pitcher. And the reason for that as a starting pitcher is naturally, and for obvious reasons, but also the analytics even say it, the second time through a lineup or even the third time through a lineup, your batting averages go up, right? And people start to figure you out. The bottom line is nobody can figure out Jacob deGrom. I mean, they kind of know what's coming, and they still can't figure out how to hit it.
Yeah, I've watched him pitch a couple of times, and, the dude's almost like a silent assassin. I'm not like a Randy Johnson watching Randy Johnson. There was emotion to Randy Johnson a little bit. There was an intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Well, 6'11". Being 6'11", you're going to have that. With Jacob deGrom, it's not so much you're intimidated by his stature, even though he's a pretty good athlete. You're intimidated because, he can throw almost 100 miles per hour whenever he wants to. But then the off-speed pitch, and he can have 4 or 5 different pitches that are exactly where he wants them to go. And in baseball, we always talk about, okay, well, you throw a good pitch, you try to, get a pop fly or a ground out, depending on who the batter is. deGrom, it's almost that's not. He's almost like the outlier where it's yeah, I'm playing baseball, but I'm not playing baseball to confide to the rules of pitching. Where if I'm going against a good hitter, okay, give you something that you can't hit, you pop fly, game over. No, I'm trying to embarrass you. I'm trying to strike you out every single time. And by the way, when I do it, I'm going to be calm, cool, calculated, not show any kind of emotion, and then do it again. They always say, it's the quiet dudes in the bar that you can't mess with.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Jacob deGrom a little bit.
Well, it's interesting you say it like that because I think one of his biggest weapons from a hitting standpoint, sometimes the hardest guys to hit are a guy that has that free and easy motion. Mm-hmm. And so it's not Nolan Ryan when he was pitching and he's got those tree trunks as legs that he's coming after you and he's going to try to fire at 100 miles an hour.
Sure.
Randy Johnson at 6'11", you knew the slot, you knew everything. Yeah. It wasn't any secret. It was can I just hit this because it looks impossible.
Yeah.
Well, when you got deGrom, it's this free and easy thing. Looks like he's just going to play catch and then boom.
Yeah.
101, 102.
Yeah.
That is sneaky fast. You could be 89 miles an hour and it feels like 98. My guess is Jacob deGrom's 102 and 101 feels like 110.
Sure.
And I don't know if we've seen that. Mm-hmm. We have had, listen, Aroldis Chapman, he can hit up to 103, but it feels like 103. It looks like 103.
Oh, yeah.
It's 103.
The effort is getting exerted for a 103.
That's right.
deGrom doesn't have that.
It's a big difference in those guys, and therefore it does allow them to throw those other pitches, like a changeup or a slider, whatever else you got, at that same kind of mechanical view for the hitter. And I think that's what makes it tough. But the numbers, I'll give you this, okay? This is why I ask it. Buster only said, hey, we might be talking about one of the best pitchers of all time. Mm-hmm. And I think of best pitchers of my generation. He brought up a good one, too, Mariano Rivera, almost unhittable with one pitch.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But different in the sense of reliever. I think that is a little bit different. I would say Pedro Martinez for me, and I would always say I wanted to go see Bob Gibson. If I could go watch one pitcher in the history of the game, I wish I could watch Bob Gibson pitch because I've read so much about him, and it looked unhittable. Well, Jacob deGrom has now gone 12 straight starts with 1 or 0 earned runs allowed. 12 straight. Breaking a tie with Bob Gibson in 68 for the longest streak with a single season since earned runs became official. deGrom hasn't allowed a run in his last 30 innings pitched. Again, we're in a world, you know what they didn't have when Bob Gibson pitched? They didn't have video, a video analysis.
Sure.
They couldn't break down every single thing. Jacob deGrom, you could go sit up and rip him apart for hours and hours and hours and have people studying him and why can't I hit him? Then here's his weakness. And they still can't figure it out. So, you really can make the case that we're watching an all-time great in that kind of conversation based on not what he's done for 1 year, to me, based on now what he's done for the next couple, and who knows much longer he can keep it going.
Here's the thing about deGrom, though. Have we seen him in the playoffs? Did he go that 1 year with the Mets? No.
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 He wouldn't have been that.
So, like, we haven't really seen him in the playoffs yet.
No, because they've been...
Well, because they've been horrible. Yeah. So, like, that to me is a big thing, too. Well, we've seen this dominant guy. But when you're in the playoffs, because go ahead and ask Clayton Kershaw how that pans out for you in the playoffs.
Oh, that's
for the regular
fair.
season.
Yeah, it's fair. I think here's the thing. Hear what I would say? Nobody wants to see him in the playoffs. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but I want to
right.
see
How
it.
do you
I want to watch it. Yeah.
Well, and he's got these all-time stats for like the lack of run support that he's had.
Oh, of course.
And all the rest.
Yeah.
Robert says it was cool seeing him play at shortstop at Stetson growing up. Now becoming the best pitcher in the game. Was it boss man Nick knew him growing up?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go to their house and ride dirt bikes and paint church and everything. I know. It's
wow.
Wild. It's wild.
I was telling boss man Nick, I said there was a guy who did like scouting reports in college, and he has a scouting report on DeGrom as a hitter because he did play shortstop at Stetson. So he would hit, and they'd say, you can't hit this pitch. You can't. It's kind of funny to see.
So how do you go from shortstop to being a pitcher?
At that level, I mean, that's not. Okay. Listen, you think your best pitcher in Little League is also your shortstop usually.
I got you.
I'm not saying Stetson was Little League. But we've seen that before where guys don't throw a ton of innings and then they transfer into being big league pitchers. He was one of those guys at Stetson. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Came out and said LeBron should, stay out of politics, and that when people, they should stay with what they're great at, and he doesn't like it when people venture into politics. And it's not that he'll stay out of all social issues. His name, the way he was treated at times, and everything, that's a social issue. But listen to LeBron. He should, and a lot of people heard this as shut up and dribble.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein with another edition of Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 3, insurance companies are not your friends. They are not your good neighbors, and you are definitely not in good hands. Insurance companies fight every day to not pay claims. They don't want you to get a lawyer, but they have lawyers. So what should you do? Hire someone who is really on your side right now. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Jacksonville and throughout Florida.
All right, boss. That's the last house on the block.
So what's the tally?
Let's see. 11 houses have Safe Touch security signs.
Okay, Safe Touch means we cross them off our list. What else?
6 houses with no security system signs. 1 with a ding-dong doorbell camera sign.
Laughable.
Yeah. And 4 houses have big blue alarm signs.
Big blue alarm. I still can't get over the fact that you can go online and buy one of their alarm signs for $25.
Wait, so you're saying there's a good chance that those big blue signs we saw are fake?
Well, not all of them. I'm sure some of them have actual alarm systems.
Well, one thing's for sure. When we see a Safe Touch sign, we know it's the real deal.
And that's just another reason we stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Is that on a bumper sticker yet?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
If an education can help you prepare for a career change, here's an opportunity. University of Phoenix is awarding up to $1 million in new scholarships this month. You could earn between $2,000 and $3,000 in a non-cash tuition scholarship. See which one you may qualify for at phoenix.edu.
Is
your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance is smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jax on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Do I have a question for you? It's amazing what comes up in commercial breaks. But before we do that, just to get ready for it, how about we hit the happy hour horn here on a Wednesday?
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Louis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
VitaDeLuis.com, where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Louis tequila, Reposado and Yeho Blanco, 3 different flavors, locally owned tequila, all the way from Tequila, Mexico to Jax Beach. VitaDeLuis.com, check it out. All right, here, how about this one? We were just talking about this break. I don't even know how this came up. Oh, you saw something about Madison Square Garden and all the different bands and acts that had played there in 1987. It was an unbelievable list.
Yes.
And then I think Boss Man Nick says, like Billy Joel and Elton John used to tour together.
Yes.
And, I mean, how incredible would that have been in their prime? And Steph actually saw them. I never did see them together, but I think they did that for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, do you think they took turns who opened for who? Probably, right?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, like you talk about, I'm sure 2 big egos. Someone's got to go first. I bet they rotated. You would hope they rotated.
Yeah, they had to switch. There's no way that it was one opener or one closer between those two.
Yeah.
It just had to be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, who would... I would think... I would think Elton would open for Billy Joel if you had to stick to an order.
Ooh, Brent, careful now.
I'm just
me and John Bachman have been over this. I'm Team Elton John all day over Billy Joel.
Are you?
Yeah. Now, granted, Billy Joel wrote his own stuff, and Elton John had help. But in terms of, like, performance and in terms of just the pageantry, you can't pick against Elton John. You just can't do it. The guy wrote Tiny Dancer. What more do you want?
I'll be the tiebreaker, and I like both. I'm going to say Billy Joel should open because Elton John is higher energy to close the show.
See? There it is. Yeah. Go ahead and sing Uptown Girl one more time. Cool.
And like I saw Train and Maroon 5 together.
Yeah.
And Maroon 5 opened, and I thought Maroon 5 would have closed because of the energy.
Yeah. That's a good call, though. I like what you're saying there. That's fair.
Isn't that like when Metallica first came out and they opened for AC/DC, and the AC/DC got all mad because Metallica, like, their fans were more engaging than when the AC/DC went on, because Metallica...
Yeah. I think that happened with Metallica and when they toured with Ozzy.
Okay.
I think that happened as well. People were chanting for Metallica during Ozzy.
Listen, as long as Billy Joel's playing around 9 o'clock. Just for Piano Man.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but Piano Man's a classic.
Yeah. So anyway, we're coming over, like, what would today's equivalent to that be?
Yeah.
You know me, I hate talking music on the show, but I thought it was a really good question.
I mean, I think so. In terms of staying power right now, and in terms of just the following, nobody is bigger than Beyonce. Like Beyonce, because I mean, she I'm not sure if you know this, the Beehive. Like that's her followers.
Okay.
And
she's Queen Bee.
Yeah, she's Queen Bee. So that's the Beehive, right? Makes sense. I mean, it's pretty good branding.
This is
pretty
good branding.
stuff. But dude, you want to talk about like power? Like if she could influence anything if she truly wanted to. Like her followers are like super diehard. Like they'll do anything they tell her to. So yeah, I'm taking Beyonce.
Well, Beyonce and.
Well, then you brought up Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
T-Swizzle.
So if you got Queen Bee and T-Swizzle?
Yeah, pretty big. I actually...
I can't believe I just said
I can't believe you said that, too. Well, you also say the gram, so, I mean, it is what it is.
I'm cool enough to be on the gram. Some others aren't.
So get this, though. I Googled, because, trust me, I've checked the tape and I've crunched the numbers. So I Googled 2019 in terms of concert sales, like who had the most successful tours, to try to pair with Beyonce, because Beyonce's in. She's the first round. She's the Trevor Lawrence.
She's first round pick.
She's in. Enough said. The following.
Who's Zach Wilson?
Really? And we just talked about them, but they were third last year in ticket sales in 2019. Metallica. Beyonce and Metallica.
No.
What do you mean no?
No,
Nick,
because
could you imagine?
Because nobody's buying that same ticket.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. Diehards are going to pay for Metallica. Diehards going to pay for Beyonce. You're welcome.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I don't feel like
that's
that's
open for who?
I don't feel like that's in the.
That's fine.
By the way, Beyonce better open because Metallica, you need to stay awake later. I mean, for it. But I don't think that's not in this conversation.
It's not in the same genre you're saying.
Well, not even close.
Well, obviously.
Like so, I mean, you're talking about Democrats and Republicans here.
Okay.
I mean, that far apart.
I happen to like both artists. I'm just saying.
You can, but you are that.
That's Austin in the mornings, everybody, at 6 to 10. WAP. No, I get what you're saying. The crowd that it would attract, it wouldn't gel well. It wouldn't mesh well.
Yeah, but I do think Beyonce and Taylor Swift could.
You think so?
I think probably more current Taylor Swift fans because it's more pop. Her earlier stuff where it was more. Country.
I don't even think of her as country anymore. Like close. Like she's
a pop star.
Yeah.
We kicked her out of country.
You want to know who had the highest ticket sales in 2019 in terms of their tour? Any kind of genre of music?
I don't know. You were just educating me on Korean bands. So.
Ed Sheeran.
Really? Kuz, bring him back.
Who's on Kuz's door? 219 million.
It's crazy.
Ed Sheeran, though, huh? Yeah.
My wife loves him. I've seen Taylor Swift twice, and I didn't buy the tickets. I got them from the radio station, luckily. I'll tell you this, though. Incredible show. And Ed Sheeran opened for her the second time around. It was just him on stage with his acoustic guitar.
That's what I'm saying.
And his little foot pedal gimmick that he's got that he does for all the echoing and stuff. And he had that place wrapped around his finger. It was unbelievable. And he was not really well known at the time either.
I'm saying a Beyonce Metallica mashup.
Where does Justin Timberlake fit?
Hey, Timberlake and Beyonce, they could go.
That'd be
Timberlake
good.
and Beyonce, especially because he's got his new album now, which is doing very well.
Oh, does he have a new one?
Yes. His big song is Peaches.
Oh, thank you. I'll go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Tom Austin sent you.
Now, listen, I could see that. Justin Timberlake and Beyonce.
Yep. Man, I would see. Like, I want to say Beyonce and Taylor Swift, but like, if we're event planners, we're trying to plan this. Do you think they get along? Because Beyonce's going to go last every single time. She's the queen bee.
Yeah.
You think Taylor's about that life? Because I feel like Taylor would have a problem with that. And then now we got arguments on tour.
Yeah.
Now we got to deal with it.
Who's going first if it's Justin Timberlake and Beyonce?
Oh, Justin Timberlake's going first every day.
Yeah.
And he understands.
But he
that.
gets it.
Hey, fall in line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to fall in line, dude.
Yeah.
He understands.
I think I'd go Timberlake and be a music expert here.
No, Bieber. Wait, talking Timberlake or Bieber? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying Timberlake.
Oh,
Bieber's got the new album.
Yeah, Bieber, not Timberlake.
Oh, so you could have Bieber with all the tattoos. I just saw that recently.
Yes, good call. I see you, Brent.
Yeah.
He's got some Crocs out, too.
He's got some what?
He's Crocs.
Oh, Crocs.
Crocs.
Hey, I just thought of one for the country world, but I can't think of the guy's name.
Crocs.
You got Garth Brooks, and then who's the guy with the long beard?
Stapleton?
Yes, Stapleton and Brooks. If they went out together, that would fill stadiums.
Yeah, but
easy.
The problem with Stapleton, and I love Chris Stapleton, but his show is he just stands. He's just there singing. He's a fantastic singer.
Yeah.
But it's like got none, like from an energy standpoint. Like you're talking, I'm sure Elton John, Billy Joel concert had all this energy to it and everything. Yeah. And Garth has a ton of energy. Mm-hmm. I saw Stapleton here. It's not that. I was actually a shade disappointed, even though he sounded unbelievable. But I'm big on the entertainment part of it. I'm going to go to a concert. I want to be entertained as well.
Are you ready for bigger than Beyonce and Taylor Swift? Or bigger than Beyonce and Justin Bieber? This is your genre. It's country music. Because to me, what we got to talk about here is like it's like we never see this, right? Like, I mean, I think eventually maybe you will see Beyonce and Taylor. You know what I'm saying? Like, this has to be like bring back the past a little bit, and then kind of dip yourselves in nostalgia. Garth Brooks, George Strait. Good night, everybody.
That could be good.
Could be, Brent. Box office numbers.
That could be good.
That would set up.
That's really good because actually Garth broke like all George Strait's records.
Okay, well,
like, in terms of numbers.
But now you're talking about the, he is a troubadour though, so be careful. Hey,
no, I'm just saying. Then you get number like 1 and 2 guys.
Okay, but careful with George Strait now.
You sure you don't want to see Garth and Tim McGraw?
In Jacksonville?
at the bank, baby. At the bank.
Just talking about the Daly's place, you're fine.
That was easy, man. That was a layup.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking that, man. But yeah, Tim McGraw would be good. Alan Jackson, throw him in the mix too.
No, it's not even the same thing.
Whoa, Alan Jackson?
No, not the same as like George Strait.
Alan Jackson was big, dude.
Yeah,
Come on.
I think he'd bring the crowd.
Brad, this is your wheelhouse.
Listen, I love Alan Jackson, but he's not nice. That's not even in the same like.
Wintown Yonder and Chattahoochee. Oh man, you want to talk about the song of summer? The song of summer?
We got to get out of here. We got the Shrimp coming up tonight on ESPN 690. Back at it tomorrow at 3. Hopefully not talking music. I'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Assistant Ime Udoka as their new head coach. What helped separate him was the strong reviews he got from Celtics players who played for the U.S. national team in the 2019 World Cup tournament when Udoka was an assistant. The NBA's East Finals they tip off tonight for the Bucks and Hawks. No pressure on underdog Atlanta. It's all on a Milwaukee team that's spent and has been built to win it all. Former NBA coach and player George Karl.
I think Milwaukee is the better team. I think Atlanta is going to run out of gas a little bit on their youthful enthusiasm. And I think Milwaukee has persevered through difficult situations. And I think they'll find a way to win this series.
George Karl on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Game 1, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. USA Basketball finalized its roster for next month's Olympics. It includes Kevin Durant, Dame Lillard, Jason Tatum, and Draymond Green. James Harden withdrew due to a hamstring injury.
Coming up Thursday, the Bucks got past the Nets, and now everything is set up for them to win the East with just the Hawks standing in their way. We'll tell you how Giannis responds in Game 1. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Thursday morning on ESPN Radio.
Janae and Golick Jr.
The big winner has really been Devin Booker because Devin has just shown a whole nother level of his game and stepped into his confidence. He's really been the big winner of the postseason. We saw flashes of that in the bubble, and it's carried over here where the Suns look really good. Shout out to the Valley Boys. Now, there's so much opportunity for Devin Booker. We've seen him hit tough shots, some huge shots. Now, over time, if that becomes his MO, the same way it's become sort of Damian Lillard's MO in clutch time, then we start saying, all right, this guy is different, not just for what he does on the court, but also how he approaches the game and wants to bury opponents.
Janae and Golick Jr.
So, when you hear I've got the keys, you know it's the last hour with your girl right here. It's Janae and Golick Jr. on ESPN Radio and streaming live on ESPN Plus. I love him. It's not like Janae and Golick Jr. It's Janae and Golick Jr. Janae Ogwumike, Mike Golick Jr. holding it down this lovely day. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, and all guests join us on the Good Year Hotline. Now, there's been some news. I know we're in the middle of the NBA playoffs, but there's been some news. The Celtics have a new head coach. We'll get to in about 10 minutes why he was chosen and why your girl is super hyped about it. Junior, can you guess? a little bit or no?
I have an inkling of where we might go with this, and anyone who's been listening to the show a while will not be surprised, but will also understand it is a big-time reason to celebrate.
Very big reason to celebrate. We stay winning, okay? And also tonight, Game 1, Bucks-Hawks, Eastern Conference Finals. Coverage starts tonight on ESPN Radio at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with John Barry on the call, who will join us also in about 30 minutes. But we are getting prepped right now for something very special, and it's now time to head to the Goodyear Hotline because Bubba Watson, PGA Tour golfer and two-time Masters champion, joined us here on the Goodyear Hotline ahead of the Travelers Championship, where he has finished victor 3 times. Now, before we get to the Travelers, if Bubba is here, and I'm see him perfect on ESPN Plus, you can see his lovely face. Before we get to golf, word on the street is that you are a Clippers fan. And I'm curious to know your take on the Clippers right now and how you actually became a Clippers fan in general.
Well, you got to look at it this way. Chris Paul, I love individual players. When Chris Paul got traded there years ago, I went to practice. Chauncey Billups, I got to meet him. So it's just different people that I've met throughout my life, I guess you would say. And then with the new owner, Steve Ballmer, great man, loves the game of basketball, passionate about it. And then the Suns, now with Chris Paul there, I was a season ticket holder at the Suns, and Orlando Magic had season tickets. So I've been around the league, went to different games. I love watching the NBA, and obviously Chris Paul, Booker is a good combination right now.
It certainly worked out pretty well. So you're saying in this series right now, push comes to shove, you got to lean on the Suns side of this with Chris Paul as the friend here?
I mean, yes, because if Chris Paul comes back in, obviously they're winning right now. But when Chris Paul comes back, I think they have even a better shot of winning it. The Clippers, they're missing a key member there. And so it's just a tough road for them. I love their team to death, but I just think it's a tough road. Injuries, like LeBron said, injuries throughout the year has really slowed a lot of the teams.
And by this logic, Junior, before you get to your question, that means that Bubba was at one point a Houston Rockets fan. So I will claim that because, Bubba, I'm from Houston. But go ahead, Junior.
There we go. 6 degrees of Bubba Watson fan separation here as we're talking to two-time Master champion Bubba Watson here on the Goodyear Hotline. Bubba, we know you got the Travelers coming up this week at a tournament that you've had great success at before. So what is it about this spot, this particular tournament, that you always seem to respond so well to?
Man, it's a sporting area. When you think about the North, the Northeast, just sports all over the map here. And it just gets me excited when I think about all the different sports teams around close to this area. And then when I think about Travelers and what they've meant to the tournament, the community, giving back to all the charities in the local area, it's been fun. Wiffle ball games behind the clubhouse with my own family, with my own friends. And then there's a golf tournament that breaks out as well. And so it's a fun atmosphere to come to and be a part of. And obviously in 2010, the first win ever for me, with my dad passing away 3 months later, it was a big deal for my family to get the win. Not only that win, but having a win that my dad could see. So Travelers means a lot more than just golf. It means my dad and all the things that he got to witness before he passed away. So it's a special town, special memory for me and my family.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Bubba. Where do you think your personal game is right now entering Travelers?
Well, when I get here, I get excited. It's kind of like when you watch Fred Couples at the Masters. Fred Couples somehow gets excited, gets energized when he gets back to the Masters. And so I feel like when I get here, it's back in my own stomping grounds. It's fun. It's exciting. And when the fans come out, and now they're out this week for sure, for the first time here in Connecticut. So it's going to be fun. And playing with Phil Mickelson, how can you not have fun?
That is true. And listen, I can speak. I'm a Connecticut native, so it's a fun tournament that's always around this area. It's an exciting time for everyone in the state. And you mentioned Phil. We've seen Phil now, the match